What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session, and today we are with my friend Jeremy Chan. Jeremy yesterday played a $25 game and he took first place for $10,000. So very well played, my friend. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Let's see.
Congratulations to Louis as well.
Yeah. Um,
Good morning, everyone.
let's see, let's get started. Let's see
Hey.
the hands. Jeremy, I actually backed Jeremy into this game for 50%, so I won half of it.
Okay, Louis, yeah, we know you made a bunch of money, even though you lost on Sunday. Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime. Alright.
Yeah.
Facing a 4-bet. We call. Get a good flop. This is a raise, I think. What do you guys think?
I think
I
so.
would call.
I'm raising.
In position as well.
Right, so. Low jack under the gun 1 opens.
I suspect we sized up a tad because we're deep. Three bet.
Come on, boys. Are we not, are we talking about not raising this? We're 100 big blinds deep.
Yeah, I
On the
would always
flop.
raise, but
He still has aces, kings, and queens in his range.
A
So I'm not sure.
pre-flop, yeah, but not on the flop, right?
Oh, you gotta raise the pre-flop.
He
Oh, it
still
depends. I
has
don't
it
know
in
what
his
happens.
range.
What happens on the flop? I don't know. You might
Yeah.
raise it on the
Leads
flop.
out.
No one's complaining about the pre-flop raise, I don't think.
Okay, I didn't see what was happening. Sorry, I was still
I
like,
was-
it's a 4-bet flop,
addressed.
pre-flop.
Yeah, he has all of the big pairs in his
Ooh.
range there with his 4
ay
bet.
caramba, 4-bet. I mean, we're
Do
too
you-
strong.
Do you ever call with jacks here?
We got backdoor diamond, I would call.
Sometimes, yeah. I think actually I call here a lot with jacks.
You almost
I mean,
always call. You never,
yeah.
I think the solver might say call, but
you got
I
possession
wouldn't be,
too.
I wouldn't be surprised if the solver splits. But, I don't know. He kinda made it a big sizing too, which gives me cause for pause here.
Less than a quarter pot.
Alright, so he goes for 11 here.
Dude, you guys can't raise. Raising here is crazy. What do you?
Easy
All
call.
in.
Wow.
mostly calling
Yeah, mostly a call, but the hand
with,
wants. to
with
raise the
everything. With everything almost.
Yeah, okay, so you can go either way with precisely jacks. Ball in.
I think in my mind, if, you're wanting to raise this flop,
You don't
probably should
raise
just
your,
pilot. You should probably just pilot in pre-flop. Cause I think you wanna call here for the
or-
same reasons we don't, you wanna call here for the same reasons we don't, play it all in pre-flop.
yeah,
If
but.
you raise, if you're gonna raise, are you planning on folding? That's the thing.
No,
Can't, no.
I would raise to call it off. I think I would like to go in here with this type
I
of.
think you'd have to, yeah.
I think he's gonna jam bluff ace, king, ace, queen, suited, shit
I
like
Well, you
like,
gotta
that.
hope
I
you
like
don't
this raise a
hope you-
lot. It's a bit of a thing.
So, the question I have is, if you're wanting to do, why are you not jamming it in pre-flop?
Well, you need to call.
Why?
Because
Well, you don't wanna run into.
You don't wanna run into aces, kings and queens, right?
Same
Yeah.
thing you wanna do.
I think
Okay,
also it's a-
so there's the
it's
ballot,
also-
there's the kind of point right there.
Yeah,
The
But it's
same
also a
aces,
good
kings and
flop.
queens he has pre-flop, he's gonna have right here.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
it's
by
all-
calling, I think by raising, you're either letting him off the hook for him to continue to bluff, or if you raise and he goes in, you're dead.
I'm surprised
would
to see
call.
that.
We can
don't
always,
have
we
much
can always
range.
call, and if he checks turn, it's a good card. If you wanna jam turn, you can, cause the pot will be so big.
Yeah. I'm thinking just call the flop and then make your decision on the turn.
Let's see what it did. What did it do versus, 4-bet?
that's a really good card.
It's a great
The
card.
pure
Well, it depends
call
what his
versus-
We're never
cards-
folding
So you
pile.
It's
Yeah,
really-
now
Yeah,
it's.
I don't think you ever get away with it
Yeah,
with
we're
jacks.
supposed to go
Sometimes it's
for
gonna
it.
sharpen over pair, and that's it.
Yeah, I like the way you played it, although it's not raising that often on the flop. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
like
if you
it.
have the rebuy button ready, I'm okay with it.
It's a
Rebuy.
$25
He's
game.
laughing. He's like, I'm
Right.
gonna punt LP staking on the first hand.
The
And
sad,
go,
Probably.
the sad part
It's
is I
only
was in
costing me
there.
$12.
no, go take a
in.
piss.
I was in there when he asked LP to buy half and I should have just said, LP, can I have the other half? And I could have made 2,500.
Yeah.
Could have. You could have been like, hey, man.
I could have
want
not played
25%.
yesterday and got 2,500.
You guys have to grasp the opportunities when they come.
Yeah, I gotta
I
hustle
just
that
do
money.
that.
So that was a 3-bet. That's fine, I think. This is,
How about raising this one?
you could raise this, I would imagine, at some frequency. It's
I
suited, you're
call.
100 deep.
Yeah. Oh, are we supposed to call?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
call.
kind of what I'm kind of curious about this. Okay,
It's like
so I
raise
get,
some, you got two overs, backdoor
Two
flush.
backdoor
backdoor
flush.
straight.
Yeah.
but no,
no.
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about pre-flop versus squeeze.
Yeah.
Like,
I would call.
this is kind of what I get in trouble in these nodes, and I think you're supposed to
Yeah.
call tighter than you would, estimate. The problem is PFA doesn't have these ranges, so we gotta dig in Pio.
Versus button, I don't think we get to fold. He's got a decent 3-bet bluff range.
Okay, so what do you-
Call or 4-bet suited jacks.
I'm calling king 10 suited,
Stop
honestly, maybe
folding.
even king 9.
Alright, let's
I-
slow it down. Let's slow it down.
I'm
I
defending king
was-
9. I'm defending king 9 suited. Maybe
Alright, we're
4-bet it.
we're still
4-bet
in
it
third
some.
gear. Let's go back to first gear. Okay, so what do you think the worst hand we're calling here is?
King 9, worst. Worst king's king 9 suited, I think.
King 10
queen
suited.
suited. King
Wow,
queen suited
man.
worst.
King
I
10
think you
suited.
guys are crazy.
I think we're
I
calling
think-
like 8-7 suited as well.
used
If
to
you think about
defend
the worst,
suited-
I think it's 8-7.
I used to defend, I think it's the tens now. 10 suited tens, because I used to defend suited eights.
Suited
Alright, let's see if we
tens.
can, see if we can find this.
Every
Full
suited
range.
ace is a calling here. That's for sure.
But the worst hand, I think,
guys
is gonna be 8-7, I think.
You guys are nuts, man.
Suited tens, brother.
Super deep.
It's also versus squeeze, though.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's suited jacks then. It's tens or jacks. One of
I
them.
got it. Under the gun raise, I jack call, cut off 3 bets, under the gun folds. Back to hijack. 100 big blinds.
Okay,
Yeah, king jack, king 10 is a little
So-
bit in there, but
I
yeah.
didn't know why I
Back
do
to
is
what
a
we-
squeeze.
I'm not.
that's what I was saying. We're like in third gear, talking a lot. We gotta slow it down so we understand the spot. Like, this is versus squeeze, like everyone was saying, we're defending way wider than this, all like your suited aces and stuff.
I don't
You
mix
actually
my
defend
pairs
this.
here.
No, I mean, I call the pairs usually quite a bit, to be honest.
That's what I'm,
But look at ace queen, for instance, here. Okay, like, are you guys finding
Wow.
this fold with ace queen?
but I don't flag call pre with it, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm probably defending with that.
No.
I'm folding.
I fold
Ace
more.
suited.
Suited
here.
with more backdoors calls.
Right, so,
Suited aces.
that's why I was saying these nodes right here, these squeeze defend nodes, I get in trouble here because I defend too wide and I know that.
I think I defend too much of queen jack suited here.
Queen jack suited is the exact hand that I was thinking of because I've looked at a couple hands where it's just like,
Yeah,
I end up winning big pots, but it's kind of like low frequency to bad situations, you know?
I get away easily from these 4, but this one I'm a little bit more sticky.
I'm in here with 8-7, by the way.
Well, the other part of that equation that we're missing is you have to have a solver you have to have a solver squeezing, or you have to have an opponent squeezing at a GTO frequency there, which is usually not the case, which means they're squeezing tighter, more linearly. So your marginal defense become even more marginal if
No,
not
but
just
I
bad.
think the low suited connectors are good, especially if they're linear, because they're just playing the top of the board.
Which
So we can
contains
really get it.
aces, kings.
And we're so deep that we can win big pots with a portion of the board they're not playing.
Yeah, there's some merit to that thinking. I think you just need to be really deep. You got, the SPR has to be managed as such where you get to see all 5 cards, right? And that's kinda hard to do in
Only
a
if you
squeeze
make it,
pot.
only if you hit a good flop, obviously tie cards are just out. It's easy to play, right? When you're playing the other end of the board, you hit your,
I
the
reckon
board's
it's
a
going to
good
fold a
5
lot.
or
I
it's
think it's
not.
going to fold. I think it's going to fold this king jack.
I thought it might raise some.
It
Like
is
So,
flush,
continuing.
two overs, backdoor
Yeah.
straight.
you see the Neapolitan response. The
Yeah, it's
Neapolitan
quite mixed.
response means it is basically indifferent.
Yeah.
And you can
They
see that,
say
Not
size
great.
up a little bit. If he size up, if he goes out
It's
pot
definitely a
instead of
fold.
a quarter pot. And I hear the opponent bets a third, so it's somewhere in
Go
between.
smaller then, Louis. Go to
Our mixing.
5.45.
We can.
so
Let's
it's
do on
somewhere
5.45, Louis.
between,
Is he three betting? Is he squeezing any 10x? That's what I wanna know.
yes. He
If
is
he isn't
squeezing
squeezing
10x.
10x, I think it's a good raise.
What does it do
He's
if you put it
squeezing,
on
he's
5.45?
squeezing
Does
a
it
lot
become 100%
10x.
call?
It makes it more
Well,
nice.
let's-
Is my mic working?
It is, it's just, there's a lot of mics working too.
Oh, okay. Just checking. I'm wondering what we would do with a smaller bet, 5.45, whether it continues 100%.
Well,
Yeah,
Barry, I
I
can
get-
just tell you, like, looking at this, if it's indifferent at 30 and it's not profitable at 50%, the smaller bet is going to be pretty close to a call.
Yeah, it didn't change much though, did it?
It's very low EV for all options here.
That's,
Yeah.
that's the takeaway right there. Like, you're splitting hairs here. It's really surfing the edges of, profitability, no matter what you do with it. I like folding now.
Should we go over the VPIP hands or all of them?
I'd say the ones
You
that,
click through them fast enough.
well, yeah.
I
guess
think
you
it,
could.
yeah, as long as we're just kind of going quickly through the non-V-pipped hands.
I think the 7-3 suited would be a call on the chart to a min raise.
You missed you missed the 3-bet from the small blind, Barry. But yeah, it would be
Okay.
otherwise. I like calling here.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
don't think we wanna 4-bet this hand, really. You're not doing great against,
No.
their continuing range at that point, if that's what you're wondering.
Really?
I would
I could be wrong.
100% 4-bet it.
Would you? Let's take a
Yeah.
look, just since we got the resources here.
There's
So we'll
no
say
way I'd
first,
call there.
first 3-bet,
ace
small
queen.
blind.
I'd 4-bet king,
You're-
queen off some. Not ace, queen.
What are we like, hijack? It's almost a pure call at hijack, low jack, it is. I mean, 4-betting is a very low frequency thing here,
This is
is what I'm
7?
seeing.
Just because our range has to be so strong.
Look at the size of tree bet.
Oh, he's out of position, he's deep.
You have position, you don't need a
He
four
should- he
bet.
could go to
Easy
10 or 11 if you wanted to. I mean, eight's kind of small, this deep.
Honestly, sometimes I like to 4-bet here.
Yeah, me too.
Well, just make sure that you guys are finding your king 6 suited and your ace deuce suited as
Count me in.
well, so you're
Count me in.
balanced.
Yes, I look
Wait.
for those now, actually.
Don't worry about me.
Yeah, I got faith
Uh-huh.
in you, Louis. I'm speaking to the rest of these folks.
Do we ever raise here? Queen deuce 5 with the diamond.
Yeah,
Probably some
I think,
frequency.
In position, I would
deep.
call.
Too deep for us.
you
Yeah.
might.
But we're very deep here, so I'm fine with either way, like you can call and raise.
Not that often, I
Might.
guess.
Well, I mean, the general heuristic as, you know, facing an aggressor when you're in position is you just don't raise a lot, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
But, you
Not too
know,
many scare cards.
Especially when you have an overcard. A
No,
nice
you
overcard, Not worried
so,
about much.
man, okay, so we got top 2 on a 2-tone board where he's gonna have a lot of ace X. I kinda wanna raise now.
35.
Yeah, because we don't have any of the two colors.
Now it's full
If you
free.
like.
Yeah, now it's full free. Well, there's
full.
just, he's
That's-
picked up a lot of equity here and we have a very strong grip on this hand.
Look at ace hard, queen of club, not really that much.
Yeah, it's a double
One of the
flush
blast
board
off
now. He's gonna have a lot of aces in his range. He's got some straights that, picking up straight draws, like combo draws.
60% all in here.
Yeah, we can do that.
You don't need to.
Uh,
I don't
If
like
he has
that.
a- if he has
You
a
could
set,
totally
Yeah,
raise
he's
here. It would
milking
be
him.
fine.
That's
See,
Well, I
why.
think you've pigeonholed yourself into just calling here at this
You
point.
look at what the fuck he showed up.
He
with.
should bet bigger with a flush, shouldn't he?
Look
Hey,
at
you
what the
kiss your
fuck he
mother?
showed up.
Hey, you kiss your mother with that mouth. You kiss your mother with that mouth. This is a family stream.
alright, so you just call. 10.
Well, I think you probably got max value
Yep.
for that because this guy,
I don't
this
know
guy
what is
didn't
he
know when
doing.
to quit. He didn't know when to quit.
Wow.
So I like raising.
I like raisins too.
Yeah.
Why is
Golden.
the stack
California
size
gold?
jumping?
I think he's just looking at V pips, maybe. I don't know.
No,
It's a good question.
Oh, he's zipping
Yeah.
through.
Oh, you know what happened, man? Like, I think, remember what happened when we reviewed mine, Louis? Like, did you import your hands yesterday?
oh my god. Do you think it's? that?
Yeah. I think half of these are your hands and then half of these are Jeremy's hands.
Oh, boy.
Okay, well, I have an idea. I'm gonna fix it real quick.
Oh, yeah, that will work.
Stop the recording.
No.
It shouldn't take too terrible.
Oh, yeah, I guess reviewing the hands is good no matter what, so yeah. Regardless of whose they were.
I think this process is nice to know anyways. Cause when we were reviewing my tournament, we had the same thing.
Yeah, because GG runs all on hero, right?
Yeah, when I import other people's
Yeah.
hands. I
Yeah,
make
there's
step-
100 less hands.
I
Oh,
make
yeah,
a
there-
step
there.
up. When I import someone's hands, I make a new database just for them, so it's always separate. Now I can delete it.
Yeah, that's how you should do it. That's the easy way to do it.
Yeah, it takes a second to make a new one, like literally 5 seconds. And then when I'm done with it, I get it off my computer. Just delete the database.
There you go.
How do I change my status from semi-pro to full-time grinder?
Well, you talk to a administrative member. And
That would be
we'll
you.
review your profile and your credentials. Then you gotta pass the test and make sure you complete your annual full-time grinder training. As well as, everything else required.
Or option
Um,
two.
100
option
push-ups
two.
also.
Enough of that nonsense.
Yes,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
100 push-ups.
And pay your dues.
This
as you
was
pay
so
his dues.
funny, man.
I
Oh,
love how
annual
you played
dues.
this one, Jay. I
Does he
think
have queen jack?
It's Queen Chan.
I love how you played this one. Well played. You got
So,
the
I'm sorry,
math.
we got a little sidetracked. Did
You
you
got
raise
sidetracked.
Prix? Well, Barry asked a question and then, Okay, so we 3-bet call, bet small, call, good. Bet large, call.
All of
Jam.
it.
Good river. Bang the river. Baby.
Yeah, that river card's
Yeah,
like the
nice.
best river card, I think, for you.
Doesn't
And all the
matter.
busted
against this
draws.
guy.
He thought he had all the busted draws. That's why he called him.
I mean, he shouldn't even be in it. He shouldn't even be in it
No.
on the flop. It was.
I hope
You're
you
right,
tagged him.
Ken. You're
Yeah,
right,
Jeremy
Ken.
Guy
Chan.
was just trying to punt.
How did you become so amazing, Jeremy? That's what I'm trying-
Jeremy Chan, what are you doing here?
Trying to steal the point, man.
He's not gonna
You-
miss.
You should not bet here when you're
seminar
out of
about himself.
position.
Twos and threes are gonna bluff some here. They're like your zero equity bluff folds.
Multi-way.
Cause, it's
Yeah, it
multi-way.
is.
Never mind,
It
never
is
mind, never mind.
multi-way.
Yeah, but you're also supposed to use the bigger size if you bluff with these ones.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't think I
right.
wanna
Cause you have
run- I
ace
don't
king
wanna
and
run a
you
big
know,
bluff
alright.
here. I'm just trying to steal the pot. I'm done with this hand. already.
You're not gonna steal for that price.
I'm not
You
stealing
should-
anymore. Look at
You
them.
should chill,
not-
you should check the flop.
Look at this garbage.
So Jeremy, when you say you're trying to steal the pot, does that mean you're just range betting every hand that you have in
Not
your
really
range?
every hand, but that flop is quite good for my range, I think. Like
Yes,
he's
you would
gonna
bet
have,
big.
Yeah,
No good,
is.
Jeremy.
maybe he could float a
You're gonna
king, but
bet.
like even with the button, it's like the guy behind, like does he really want to? Like if the button folds, it makes me Allows me to go.
I think this is good, Jeremy. I think you went a little large on the flop was my only critique with that spot. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be three betting king ten there at some frequency, which is
I
good.
like it a lot. You play better and better.
You get-
nowadays.
Let's go.
Okay. What do you do here, Jeremy Chan?
Sure,
You ch-
That's a bet on the flop.
You can mix. I think you mix here. You can check some, you can bet some.
I mean, the
Yeah.
queen and the six are pretty good for big blind, but I would bet it in here a
Yeah,
lot.
but this hand's not
I'd
great
probably
to call,
lean-
to call a raise, right?
I'll
I
probably
think you
lean more
should
towards a
bet here
small bet.
more often than not. But
Yeah,
checking
check
is out,
jack.
there's also such a mixing, I'm sure.
There's so much bluffing though, like that he's gonna do. It's gonna be hard to call down with tens. You want to play a small pot here, I think, a lot.
Yeah, that's the counter argument for why you check sometimes for sure. I honestly, I get into it, when we're this deep, I just do a lot of betting.
Right?
Yeah,
You want,
I mix here.
but
Especially
you're not
where
that
we've
deep.
got a bit of,
The guy only has 40.
I would bet small.
50.
we've got a bit more straight interaction with this board, and I'll bet small like Ken said. But
Why
check
would
jack.
this? Why
There's a lot of
does
good cards for you still if you need them.
We can look briefly. We'll see what we got here.
This hand's gonna struggle against a check raise line with aggression. This is a good call down.
Mostly a bet.
And this is at 60 though, so if we go to 40, just to kind of exemplify, if you look at it at 40, just real quick, just to kind of exemplify. It should start being on the other end a little bit more.
How are we down to 40? It's 60
It's-
bigs.
No, that's not the
Is-
point. That's not what we're trying to do, Ken. We're just trying to
okay.
exemplify, like, as you go shorter stack. You're gonna see a higher checking frequency here. Like, Louis looked at
I'm still
60, it was
betting.
almost.
Yep.
So I would imagine it's a higher check frequency here. I'm not 100% sure, but nope, I'm wrong. It's still,
the
it's still just
same.
bets. Still just
Betting
bets.
range.
Surprised. I almost always check that spot.
Wouldn't say range.
I used to do that, Peter. I've gotten to a point where I just almost. Just bet it.
Easy call.
It's such a small
Yeah.
bet. I think I'd have to call.
You can't, you just call this down all the way.
That's
Yeah,
the
I think he
minimum.
played it. He played it fine.
I think you should fold the river for sure.
Nah, fuck
Yeah.
that, man. I can't play this.
I mean, what's he
hand.
value betting? It's bluffs. You block a lot of bluffs with the 10.
What
I
if he's
guess.
blocking a 6 or 7s? Yeah, I don't know what he's up to, right? I'm not folding this hand for 30. I'm expecting to lose this bluff, but
I'm
Yeah, I
mean,
expecting him
honestly, I
to
couldn't
have
fold either.
plenty of nines there and plenty of queens.
you think he has a 9 when he bets like that?
The only
Yeah,
bluff he has-
his
Yeah,
river
it's fine.
sizing is, his river sizing doesn't really scream value with a 9 here for me either.
Sometimes these
The only
people turn up with
blocking-
a 6. They put their ranges in the wrong place, and then they have blocked
True.
back with 6.
That's what
and
you're
then-
To
hoping
be honest,
for.
I'd probably call but never expect to win. I'm pretty bad.
Personally, when I'm on this spot here nowadays, you have to be mature. He's either gonna show us a queen or a 9. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
I agree.
Yeah,
So
it is
just like let it go, it's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're blocking the.
He's
the
gonna
only
show
bluffs
us
out
a
there
queen
mostly
or a
is
9
straight.
almost every time. What kind of opponent's gonna be oblivious enough to double barrel a 6 here?
right.
Find bluffs
You
with
don't-
pocket twos.
Some
and
people do
threes.
that.
Right,
Like
you're
the
blocking
people
jack
when they
10.
have pocket 10s. You think they don't
Listen,
know?
block
if
the
the 9
strikes.
didn't pair, if it came an 8. I would, I would be fine with the call, but when the 9 pairs, you beat 9s on the flop, you don't beat 9s anymore on the turn. What are you
Yeah.
looking for? I would.
Alright,
personally-
okay. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say, okay, the GTO solution here is to call. It's not debatable. The LTO solution here, the LTO exploit is just fold it because he's always gonna show you a better hand after he bets 2 streets.
Yeah,
So if you're defending a GTO, you need to call. If,
Should
don't
fold.
think your opponent has bluffs.
Yeah, I'm always calling there because I find guys getting out of line with all kinds of crap.
I'm kind of in the same boat as that, myself
people-
personally.
People turning ace high into a bluff there.
I think you wanna bet large. if
Even
you're
at
gonna
low,
bet this flop.
even at low stake.
It's hard to really answer that question.
There
but,
wasn't.
Yeah,
There
like-
wasn't too many bluffs. There wasn't too
I
many
would
bluffs on
say,
that
I
particular
would say
board.
less frequency, less.
look at the
frequency.
SPR here. You can't.
Yeah,
bet.
I see it now.
Yeah, I just
I
feel like out of
primarily
position,
play low stakes.
I feel like when out of position is betting, it's more towards value. Here,
Also, if you guys wanna help with the flow of traffic in the communication, and we got like some stuff you kinda wanna talk about in a hand, you can use the chat feature. We can continue conversations there about hands if we're on the next. I like calling here. I like three betting if it's a little deeper.
Easy days.
Easy fold.
So jack nine opening under the gun at what,
I always
30 of
open that.
30 effective? What do you think the worst hand you're opening there is? At 30
10-8.
effective?
9,
10-8's a good answer. 10-8's
I think,
great.
I think 9-10 for me.
9-8 actually.
Yeah, suited nines is pretty solid EP, so it's good.
I think effective is like 13 bigs. A very short stack on top.
What is this garbage race? You probably hit two
So,
pair.
Wait, what happened there? Did you see bet flop with pocket kings?
No, I
check
checked flop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then turn I block, and then he raises.
I
He hits
wouldn't
two
bet
pair. I think
turn
he has two
either.
pair.
I wouldn't have bet.
What
the
do you
turn.
block with this bet? On turn?
Yeah, but if you check, you allow him to fire with all kind of hands like I don't know.
Like, I'm surprised he's raising because you blocked the nuts.
I prefer if you check call here to try to hit the queen sometimes.
Yeah, I would have checked turn too.
Your
Because
hand
when
turned
you
into a
bet here and
one-street
you
hand.
raise, he has less bluffs, whereas when you check and you see bets after check, 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 check. He has a lot more like bluffs here.
Yeah, especially in 2-3 players.
I think it turns into a one street hand multi-way with an ace on the flop as well, doesn't it? You want to try to get to the river.
So pair board, I like raising a lot here. I think this is also a pretty decent combo. But they. You guys three bet here?
Never.
What the
No.
fuck? A7 off.
No,
This
maybe
did
shoot.
never.
Okay,
Dude, the
Ace
guy's
bet.
got 12 big blinds. It's crazy.
who's that? Who has 12?
Yeah, that's not
The
even
guy,
that
oh wait,
range.
no, sorry. Ignore me. So it's basically 50 effective with that guy. I think you kinda start shifting towards the suited combos more than the offsuit junky ones.
Yep.
Sub 40, you
I
start
like a
seeing more.
check raise on that.
Galen, do you
flop.
have a hard rule you use for at what depths you three bet which ones?
I do, actually. And it's basically built off of how likely, what their response is. If they're gonna be four bet jamming a lot, which is kind of the response around 40, you start picking combos you don't mind throwing away.
Yeah,
So,
This
like,
one is a ridiculous hand.
I think
Less
he
equity
like
driven
to
hands.
double barrel here.
would you mind throwing that down on, in the chat? Cause I'd love to see
Sure.
it, because that is the one thing where I'm not always sure is the three bet ranges,
Right.
at which
Deeper.
depths.
So
Yeah.
I like
definitely
a check
double
raise on
barrel.
this flop, honestly.
Do you
I mean, I
prefer
know-
check raising with a diamond?
I know what I use, but I don't know that it's always right.
I think it's a big bet, it's not a small bet.
Against
better check
two
raise.
players.
We have got a diamond though, Louis.
Yeah, so
multi-way.
diamond drives down the bet and frequency, so. probably
Yeah.
fine, But this is a double barrel for sure. You pick up equity here. Why do you check,
Yeah,
Jeremy?
Yeah, honestly, this spot right here is a slam dunk double barrel. It's like not even close when you have the diamond.
Yeah,
Look at this garbage turn.
Dude, you can't, I would have, I'd have put this guy in, to be honest. But,
Put him in.
yeah, dude, you've got, a very strong hand. Was this a three bet pot pre-flop?
nope,
No,
single raise. pot.
Okay, so,
It was
so you
multi-way on the
have,
flop.
so you have basically the effective nuts on the flop. Cause he doesn't have ace, king. He just got lucky.
Do we ever check raise that hand? I'm curious if I'm playing too passive. I feel like these people like to put chips in when you check, so I'm starting to check raise a lot more often than betting for value right away. So I just love. to
I
put
don't mind
chips
that, Ken. I like it. I
in.
like the
Love to
check
put
raise,
chips in
to
when
be
you
honest.
check, and if he bets small, big blind has a little piece, they usually put chips in because they're bad. They call too much with a little, any piece of anything.
Good
And
way
you
to
just have-
build the
then
pot
there's
there,
just more
because you
chips in
know
the pot
he's
when you
not
have a
beating
good
ace
hand.
queen at this point a lot of the time.
Surprised he did not go all in, even though there was a one liner to the straight, which he didn't have.
We know we've
Yeah,
got the
I would've went
effective
broke
nuts
on the
pretty
turn
much.
against his hand if I check raise, cuz now I'm making it a 2 street hand pretty much.
It's mixing hand. But Jeremy, that's what I thought as well. You have big bets or you don't have small bets when you go.
Yeah, you got the effective nuts, Jay.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know what you do with a
So you
multi-way.
need to size up here a little bit. Like make it.
You wanna
fi-
get you wanna get all the cookies.
You can go like 75% pot, I think, for your big. bet
Jeremy, this
multi-way.
guy's got chocolate chip written all over his face and you love chocolate chip cookies. And you're thinking, I want another one and another one.
I think we saw a
Still
deep
need-
solver multi-way, you polarize, you go like 25% or
Or bet as
75%.
opposed.
Check raising is fine, Ken.
Thanks.
I was going to say, Louis, the heuristic there was to check 70% of the time.
On the flop,
Almost like,
Yeah. So
No.
are we checking 70% of the time to check call or check raise?
no, we're not. Well, the whole overall strategy is to check, but our hand wants to bet the
Okay.
lot.
Yeah, it's checking about
Oh, yeah.
40%, it looks like, to check
Who
raise.
who has more flush draws here? Is he betting?
And
his
that's
flush
heads
draw?
up, so it might check more multi-way, honestly, so, I mean, I really like a check raise here, that's how I would have played it.
Okay.
I
Is
think
he betting his
multi-way you
flush?
check even more.
I like the check raise because you've got the effective nuts on the flop pretty much.
Alright, so you're supposed to play for a big pot, but turns out you dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
This is an easy check. Why do you bet here?
you can
know.
probably bet here. It's a
Protection?
paired board. It's
Yeah.
well, no way, actually, I'm sorry, it's multi-way, man. You probably can bet this sometimes, but I play more cautiously.
I
I
have a
think
lot
you
of
need
black
a,
hat in
you
my
need,
league.
you need a diamond to bet it here.
Yeah, they're supposed to
I
check
know.
raise less on paired Broadway cards, so they shouldn't check raise that often when we bet, but it's multi-way and like whatever, it's eights.
The way
We
I
need a little
approach
bit of
these spots,
protection.
Jeremy, when I miss my pair, I just check to try to hit it. That's how I would play.
I
it.
actually don't hate a bet here though, cuz he's got outs. of the equal. You can check back.
don't
turn,
mind
you
a
can, like-
bet.
You can like buy the river almost with a bet there.
Okay, yeah, this is,
It works.
why is that guy in here? What is this? Oh, I guess the guy completed with 10-7 offsuit from the big
Awful.
blind.
Yeah,
who
against
knows what
under
they
the
do.
gun and button.
Oh, I thought it
That's a
was,
bit-
small blind and big blind. Okay.
No, under the gun and button.
Yeah,
That's a
he's
bit
not supposed to
wide.
be in there.
That's a bad defend, right? 10-7 off,
It's
maybe
not-
suited, right?
It's.
Do you think the
it's
salt,
not
does the GTO wizard check a lot on
I
on
fold
that
10-7
flop there
off
on the
versus
button?
the under the gun open, so it's bad.
Barry, it's
Yeah.
multi-way,
You're
GTO
against
Wiz
the
doesn't have
under
the
the gun.
capabilities.
You don't have a card of the suit. So betting here, you wanna have more like, if you have a card of the suit, I'm sure betting it's fine at some frequency. But without it. You're just like trying to make a pot with, I don't know, what do you do if you get check raised? You're above the 70, it's like, ugh,
You gotta call. It's not fun.
yeah. Put yourself in the box where in reality, you're multi-way. What's the best thing that can happen with your pair when you're multi-way like that? It's your card appears, and when your card appears, you need everyone in the hand.
So I just want, you can raise these junky suited connectors some versus a limp.
Yeah, you
like
can. I was
sleep.
gonna.
3x and
I was gonna-
4x.
Probably something
I was
like 10
gonna-
3 suited, 9 3 suited with raise.
Nah, I think it's still more
6-3,
connected.
6-3 does some. 6 deuce does full frequency. 7-3 does a lot. This region of hands is pretty popular versus limp.
Oh, look at this.
The
Look.
worst suited gappers, I guess.
See, this would be okay against a big blind, against a small blind.
I'm
It's
kinda
a
with
big
Louis
better-
here.
It's another big better check spot, I think.
20
I'm not
bigs, you
sure.
know.
Well,
I'm
even
not
though they
sure
have
with
20,
this
we still
one.
get to go like, I mean, a big bet would be like 55% pot, right? So
We're heads up, we've got position. This hits us our range hard, and we're supposed to bet our worst pairs.
To be
So
fair,
we're
20
doing right.
bigs, you're not supposed to have a lot of flatting there.
Hang on a
so-
second.
This is a,
So,
this is a two-tone king, queen, eight board. It is highly connected to what the small blind is flatting here.
Yeah,
So it's
Or a check, I
I-
think.
mostly a very small bet, actually.
yeah,
It's
but if you
mostly
think of
a
it, if
check.
you think of it,
It's
20
mostly a
bigs,
check.
20 big small blind, it's not much.
I meant when
flatting.
it does bet. I knew we'd have a lot of checks, so I thought we'd have bigger bets when we bet. That's what I meant.
So you could
Gotcha.
check,
Kinda
you
like-
should mostly check here.
I'm just gonna say, like, if you see a solver response.
What are you doing
with
now?
80%, if you see a solver response of 80% of something, you could probably simplify the tree and just do that response.
Well, it was 60% check, so that's what I'm saying. Usually when it's a high check board, we polarize when we bet, so, but this is different. Obviously, it was not that heuristic.
So check a lot on the flop when we bet. We kinda
Different
go
small.
big. Do we double barrel when the ace comes?
No way, I'm betting this again. When he calls flop, that's
But
short.
he only had Jack 10 that he approved, right?
Probably.
Yeah, you're applying maximum pressure to his tournament life.
That's
You're
also what I
capped.
think.
With this hand,
Think if, this is one of the very best cards for imposition here.
when I think
Yeah.
about their calling range, it's a lot of Broadway stuff, population isn't filing a lot of the chunkier two guy, one guy.
No, no, if he has ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, ace ten, he's stuffing it in our face pre-flop. So when he
Yeah.
comes, it's not so bad.
Yeah, now you apply maximum pressure to a queen, an eight, a combo draw.
Yeah, see.
I
if
mean, there's
we're
a lot
here,
of
we have
supporting
to go
evidence
for
for
it.
just barreling here.
There is.
Like, the best
don't
hands
check.
that have kings are raising pre. His best queens on the flop are probably, pre or raising, are raising pre. On the flop, all of his king X should be check raising. Like when he calls pre and he calls the flop, he doesn't have like a lot of really strong hands here
Yeah,
at 20
so
effective.
once we're here, this ace comes on the turn, so fine barrel.
We're betting range, right?
Yeah,
You should be. You should be.
Vamos.
oh my.
Guess what he
goodness,
called?
Jeremy Chan.
Alright,
Unbelievable.
I
Jack
can,
Jack
I
eight.
admire the gusto, Jeremy. I
Yeah, you
admire
gotta
the
go
gusto.
for it.
Yeah,
But,
what the fuck? I'm not sure showdown with fucking Tracy. I'm never winning.
Kind of
Yeah.
understand it. It's our worst player, isn't it? One of our worst pairs.
I'm not betting this river, by the way. I'm just not doing
Can't-
it.
Yeah, can we
All
turn
in,
this pair
easy
into
jack.
bluff?
Yeah, you don't block the spades, you don't block the straight. This is a good bluff.
Look at what he turned up with.
He's gonna show an 8 or something.
Wow, he's sticky.
So you
Very
made a
sticky.
poorly adjusted play because your opponent.
How
is
the
a
fuck
small-
do I know he has queen 10 here? I mean,
That's
he's
not
not-
Alright.
Jeremy, stop swearing.
Jeremy, unless you're editing this video later, you might just comment that down, bud? Thanks.
There's no filter.
Your opponent's a calling station. Right? He
How do I
wants to
know
call
that?
you
You
down.
think I
and
know
it-
that?
Well, he knows
Well,
now.
you should,
Yeah, you
now
know.
like, you should be aware, you should know what you're
How,
thinking.
how am I going to
Well, you
know
don't know
how I
until
played
you
a hand
see
with him?
it.
It's not like I've been playing a hand with him.
Yeah. So I really
was a
don't
good
like
play.
your flop bet, basically. It all falls down from the flop bet. If you check this flop, you don't need to fire. So that's what I prefer here.
Yeah, if you check flop and bet river, you might actually find or bet turn, you might actually find a fold with a queen, because having an ace is very like.
You seem
standard.
to be getting in a lot of trouble with your pairs, Jeremy. Just check them.
Right,
I
so
like
you're
checking
saying when you check.
Jack 10, oh, you opened, right?
Yeah. Under the gun getting big
I thought you were
blind.
big blind for a second.
Especially big blind, probably checking here quite a bit.
Just remember, Jeremy, the best thing that can happen with these pairs is you hit your set, and if you hit your set, you need a lot of players in the hand. So you don't benefit from betting people out when you have these kind of hands. You just wanna see a free turn, free river. And then if you hit, you play something. Otherwise, you don't need to bluff, you don't need to barrel, you don't need to.
Right,
Cause
'cause when
we
they stick
already
around,
saw
they
you
have some.
getting a lot in trouble with these pairs for nothing.
Ace, king, what were you saying?
I'm saying that, yeah, because when an opponent calls, they have something on that board. So when you, I mean, if you're gonna bluff the river, you might as well bet the flop, but when you check the flop, that takes away your chances of bluffing the river. That's what we're saying here.
Yeah. It's tough because the guy's not very deep. And, if he calls
Yeah.
two streets, he shouldn't be folding much on the river. And,
Right.
if he's calling all of his queen X, well. I kinda like jamming threes much less. Despite what a solver says.
Okay.
There are situations where we do jam our worst pairs though, isn't there?
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, the
you
game
get-
tree changed a bit.
So you raise, get it through, that's good. You fold something. You take it down. It's good. You gotta fold that.
This is the one.
I just put him in here. Yeah,
You got lucky, I think. Oh wait, no, this
yeah.
one's.
Wow, dude, what is this guy doing? He's three
I
betting.
don't know. You
Three
tell
bet
me.
folding.
You tell
Off
me.
20, man. That's crazy, dude. What are you doing?
You tell me. I don't know what
Put
this
him in.
guy is doing as well.
They're putting him to the test.
Apparently.
Because my VP was very high, it was near 30 or something, 27, 28, I think.
Well, you're a crazy man.
Yeah, especially when you got no history on your new account, people just like, oh, let's go.
We're
So
reviewing your hand.
I like calling. I mean, I honestly, I kinda just like putting him in there on the turn.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what it's not.
Well, I was gonna
Look
say
at this
he jammed
guy. What is he
already
doing on the
once.
turn? What
This
the
is
hell is
fine.
that?
This is fine.
I think it's fine.
I keep looking, I'm like, maybe I made a mistake here. Then I look.
You're
This
missing some
this
of these suited kings, Jeremy.
This is
This
probably
one's
nothing.
probably close. King 5, like, I think cutoff might just make it, but I get maybe not.
Cutoff is opening king deuce suited.
Is it?
Hijack is opening king 4 suited.
Because the deeper it is, right?
Yeah, at 50, at 50.
Okay.
What about king 5 suited? He's missing opening that a hijack.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. 50 effective. It's opening it at 40 effective. It's opening at 35. It's opening it at 30.
So disgusting, man. This one block boundary.
Opening it at 25 effective.
Okay.
okay, it's fine to fold.
Huh?
It's a fine fold.
So
What am I gonna
this,
do?
this could be a 3-bet right here. I'm fairly confident.
I think
So
it's
this
just,
is
I
a good
think
game.
it's a small,
Coulda-
like 15%, 20%, I think.
I think it's ace 8
Oh,
off.
way more.
Ace
No,
7
no,
as
no,
well.
no, yeah. So to, briefly, to Chris's question earlier, you see how we are sub 40 now? It's choosing a lot of these trashy aces as bluffs. It's because, you can let those go versus a 4-bet.
Okay.
And like, you see how it's just jamming ace 5 suited? It's because it wants to run the equity with some of these other hands, your small pairs.
Run it, baby.
Yeah, you just wanna generate a lot of fold equity with your equity driven hands, and then like your blocker bluffs, you can raise fold. Along with protecting your raise calls like aces and whatever the hell else you're putting in that range. Yeah, let her go.
What was his result in this tournament?
You won it.
He won first place last night in this tournament.
This was the result.
Ooh. Oh, that was him that I saw. Oh, nice. Congrats.
Yeah, it's a spicy meatball.
Easy
Oh,
money.
easy
Easy
money,
money.
Jeremy.
What is this guy
Thank you.
doing?
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I mean, he had ace jack, okay. Oh,
Again,
how do you win the tournament? How do you
it's
win?
like picking up
Aces
aces.
and
That's how easy it is.
You gotta call. You gotta check call.
Yeah, turn is.
I like your play. I like your play.
Ah, it's
I
fine.
I can't
it's good.
continue without dying.
2-4, pocket fives, you open. Bet small,
Fine. This one is
You can even
fine.
go one big blind if you wanted to, probably.
probably. Be alright.
Oh.
Raise. Pocket four, okay, I'm okay with
Yeah,
this because
I
big
fold.
blind's got 7. Big
Yeah, I
blind's got
fold.
7. You don't wanna have to stack off with some of these fellows.
Yep.
Fold, I like.
So under the gun,
I
you
like-
start calling sixes plus. You
I would
folding four.
stab here.
Yeah, I'm betting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you should
fine
stab here.
betting or not here.
Ace, king with regard, I'll answer
Okay.
in
Yeah.
the chat. There were.
Boom. What the fuck? I block bet and I still don't get a call.
Yeah, let me start using the chat more because it's not possible to answer everything here in the voice chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, what happened?
Just like that.
I think something was up here. I was looking at this and I think it was probably close to bubble and this guy had like a very low PFR and I was like, fuck it, I'm not putting.
You know
I'm not
what's
putting-
going on here? I know exactly what's going on. The guy opened
What's that?
3x.
Yeah?
The guy opened 3x.
Yeah.
And he got shook?
No, I
Yeah.
was looking at the
Jeremy got
PFR.
afraid.
I mean,
You know
I
what the
can call
response
this
here
one.
is?
Rip
No,
it.
no, no, you should just rip it, man. Like,
Yeah, I'm
as their
ripping it all
bet size,
day. You wanna
when they're
open
like
it and
this
go home,
stacked
huh?
up. When they're at this stacked up and they start raising larger
Yeah, but
like that,
what if your PFR is at 10%? Are you gonna do that?
well, no, that's obviously a good, that's a
Exactly.
good
Precisely why I'm just gonna get out
exploitative,
of the way here. No. I'm not gonna put it in here and then turn over pocket kings or something.
Well, I'm still calling then. If I'm not so scared that I'm not gonna call on the
That's
button.
probably really close to the bubble here as
You're
well.
on the button. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I probably would have
Gotta
called on the
defend
button.
this hand somehow.
Jesus
Because
Christ.
Did you
you can
get to
still
see
call
what he
the
showed
15.
down?
What are you doing?
yeah, this is, it's pretty tight, but I mean, if the guy had like a 10 V pip or something, I can understand where you're coming from with it. I think it's just too high up to ever fold, though, personally.
I think that's the tightest I've ever seen you play, Jeremy.
Look at this. You defend king 9 offsuit, no problem. But ace queen? Nah.
Do you have access to the guy's HUD? I don't know if you have HUDs, you can see HUDs.
No,
with
no,
this.
not. Maybe I do. Wait, do I get to? No, I don't think. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. There's no HUD on GG.
Show HUD and then there's.
The guy
But there
Okay.
isn't.
is.
The guy
There is.
isn't. Confirm
He
it.
is pretty nitty,
He
man. He
pip
is pretty
is
nitty.
almost 16. What's his raise first in?
He was a
11.
16-11.
16-11, never 3-bet in his life.
11 is the raise first in?
Yeah.
Pretty nitty.
He
That's
isn't.
pre-flop raise. That's different than V pip. That's different than RFI.
Still, you see this guy, he plays 6M on 40.
I mean, that happens
It's
sometimes.
very low sample, but I'm
just
happy
I don't know,
to
it
get
never
over
happens to me, Ken, so I don't know.
I think it's okay. I mean, like, it's tight. I think it's important to know in a vacuum how you respond to that. So if they're short and they start raising larger, you're gonna be jamming to take down those uncontested chips more
That's fair.
frequently pre-flop.
Yeah, the SPR, they shrunk the SPR already for you by making a big open.
Correct.
Look at this, how lucky we got here. Oh my god.
Okay,
This
so
is-
here's a legitimate question. After it goes jam call, I mean. What's the worst hand you're calling here, Jay?
Well.
Nice
small
might
blind-
just make it, man, because the big blind basically not really, he's only a 8 big blind, doesn't really affect me. It's what small blind is jamming with. I think small
On
blind
pens here, I
jamming
think the
quite
small
wide.
blind is gonna definitely be wider than the big
Yeah,
blind,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And he has.
And
one
this is
check.
like right past the money, so I'm like, I'm gonna call like ace 10 suited here actually.
I think it's an interesting spot, man. I think ace 10 is punting. But I
I'm
think
calling
tens
ace 10.
is,
The thing is that big blinds. It's really whatever, like he has an 8 big blind stack, he has like, he's jamming
Jeremy,
like.
I see these
Jeremy,
knuckleheads call it pocket twos there.
I'm not
Well, we
calling
don't
pocket deuce.
know, I mean, we can't just say that you see it once, you can't just make that assumption about the entire population. 8 big blinds, Jeremy, is half of your chips almost, half. And you don't
Yeah.
have an insignificant amount of chips, so
What do you
like,
do? What do you do with sevens here, Gavin?
Fold.
dude, I'm folding
Yeah.
sevens, like not even
Yeah,
close.
sevens I'm
Prem.
folding.
Tens is the bottom of my
That's-
range,
that's- Yeah,
honestly.
I think nines might just make it. Eights I'm even
So
considering.
this is the solution. Say everyone was 15 big blind effective. And it was pure
Okay.
chip EV.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're probably supposed to call.
Cutoff
wider, right?
open, small
You
blind
put in an
jams,
eight big.
big blind calls the jam. It's back on cutoff. This is what the cutoff should be doing.
This is
More.
interesting. Okay, you know what? Actually, I may have something we can look at with this. I got a quarter field.
Yeah.
And, we can look at 15 effective,
I
Might
ICM
be- Might be
adjusted.
nines that I
I would
see.
make it the 50 field.
50% of the field doesn't make the money in a tournament, though. The 50% is pre-money bubble, 25% is post-money bubble.
But where do we
notice-
stand in the bubble here? We don't know.
Jeremy said that the money bubble had just popped, correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's why I was picking 25.
Isn't 15% post bubble?
15% of the fields, I mean, honestly, I think both of these are pre-bubble.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
like
they
a-
generally
like
pay
20.
like 12 to 15%, so,
They normally pay 20%, right? for the
So
field.
maybe 50 will be a better estimation of what the actual ICM pressure here is.
They
To
pay
Louis' point.
10% usually.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, more than that.
So.
GG
I
pays
wanna
we-
jump
15 unless
one
some
point.
tournaments they pay 10.
So
I
we're gonna
think
look at
if,
cutoffs.
If we were
small
raising this to raise fold it, then I would be much happier just jamming it. Our raising range should be fairly polar between raise call offs and raise folds. And if the claim is to raise fold this, then like I would much prefer to just jam it. Which is
I'm kind
definitely
I'm kind of in Tim's shoes with this, I think.
but I still think this is definitely an equilibrium call. I mean, some players are tight enough that maybe we could make it borderline, but this is definitely an equilibrium call.
I'm folding nines, calling tens.
I think
But I just want to,
These
I just wanna
ranges aren't
point out
gonna help
that,
us,
like,
Louis.
I wanna point out that range structuring thing that like, again, if you're really not sure what to do, like, it's a plus EV jam for 17 bigs, just like shove it.
I'm kinda with you
Yeah.
on this one, Tim. I
Yeah.
like that response. This is a spot if you really wanted to kinda get in the weeds with, you need HRC. You're gonna need to HRC this spot.
Definitely.
And
I think
I
it's
think it's
just a
got some,
better hand.
Well, Ken, you wanna do it?
I think it's got some merit to HRC.
Galen's
to
got
be
it, yeah,
quite
let
honest.
him do it.
Alright, I'll HRC. Let's see. Alright, I'm a noob, but I think I can handle it.
I think it's just a better hand just to put it on them and not have to worry about them stuffing it back in your face as well.
Alright, so I'm gonna need a little basic guidance. We're gonna use advanced Monte Carlo, correct?
Multi-table.
Yeah,
want me to do it?
multi-table. No. I need to do it. I need to do it. So you're pasting me the thing, Louis?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you share your screen as well. That way we can guide you. And
Sure.
then I'm sending you the actual file as well.
So how far past the bubble is this?
He said it's pretty close to the bubble.
Yeah.
So
Just
about
possible.
500 people got paid. Let me see, there was 5,000 people or 4,000?
There's only 4,000 players.
4,000, so they paid 15%, so 600, so there's like multi-table with about, just say like 500 left.
So
get there.
multi-table, ICM.
You gotta change the pay structure.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do. So I'm gonna try to paste. I think this is correct.
Yep.
The pay structure, I'm not really sure how to put the pay structure in efficiently.
Load one that is already made.
Didn't you download any yet?
No, I haven't downloaded.
Alright,
it
here,
yet.
if you have, I can actually get this structure that you can download right in there pretty fast. While you're working on this, but you wanna click moving button. LP, can you give me the tournament ID number from the HUD?
Hmm,
It should be.
Tournament
where the
ID,
hash
I've got
issues
it.
are.
Here, I got it. Here.
Hold on, let me find what
I'm
I'm
about
looking.
about to
Where
paste it to you real
is-
quick,
Let
Ken.
me find this. Okay, here's this here. I just need the,
The
what was the
numbers in
starting
your-
chip count? How many chips did you start with?
He started
10,000.
with.
10,000.
10,000 chips.
10,000 chips, and now I just
Yep.
need the tournament ID number.
The tournament ID is in your inbox.
Okay,
Is it actually 10,000?
and while you're,
You-
setting
I
up
think it
that,
is
I'll
10.
get you. You can set up the bet sizes and all, just give me a second here, paste.
So I'm gonna go
Uh,
next real
the
quick and we're going to edit this. I think this is how we do it. So we're
Tournament
gonna say
ID,
like 500 remaining. Average chip stack is about what Jeremy has, give or take. I think this is okay. That's like 16.
Click on
bigs, seems
randomize,
good.
click on
the
randomize.
ID was wrong. I can find it on chart scope.
Chip average, total chips. See, this chip average is not good.
Yeah, because the total is not good.
Yeah,
I'll
maybe
do it.
so.
I'll
You're
help
right.
you in a second.
I have no idea what the total chips in the tournament actually should be.
Well, it's
let's do
4,000 times 10,000 roughly.
Exactly.
Okay, 4,000. Oh, I see
Jeremy-
what you're saying. So
Tournament
4,000
ID
times
is, can I copy
10,000.
paste this? Yes.
Okay, that's a good estimate. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay, this is good. This is good. It's saying
Perfect.
that there's this many players left, which is
Okay.
kinda like,
Now, hold on, let me see. That gets confusing. The tournament
80.
ID is no good. This is fucked
oh,
up.
it's. Here, we can
Oh, wait,
continue
poker
with this. I
stars.
think.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah, that's good, I think.
Yeah, this looks reasonable. So we'll go to next and we'll just set up with, all we really care about is like, we want the open to be able to be 2 big blinds. We want all ins. We don't want any flats, really. We just want a 3-bet option and a 4-bet option of all in. And we want, we need flats if they're shorter stacks behind, right? So we can say up to, we'll say up to 4 flats after the 3-bet all in.
I think that's good.
That's the structure.
So the last thing we need to worry about is the payout structure.
I just sent it to you.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, let me grab
So,
that.
I forget how to walk through this. Let me open HRC actually to, you have the beta open?
I do have.
So you're
beta.
gonna have to, all this will be saved. Just click, like finished and then we'll start over and everything you put in here will be saved, but we have to go back to the beginning to import the structure.
Okay, I'm right here where at the base hand.
No, but to
basic-
import it, you're gonna have to go,
Okay, so I'll just go to file import.
no. Doesn't work that way. Let me see. Structure
See if I can-
manager. That's not it. Okay, yeah, so you have to go back to the beginning. Alright, so click, tools. Structure manager, and
Custom.
now you get new folders and there is the folder that says import structures. Click that and then import the file I sent you.
I don't have this import structures folder that you're
Oh,
talking
you
about.
do. So it's, hold on, slow down. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 7th icon over at the top. From the left to right.
Oh. 7th over.
The first
So
folder there. See that neck, one more.
Import structure. And I just need to save this somewhere and pull this over is what you're saying. Okay,
That, yeah, whatever file I just sent you is what you gotta get in there.
data for JSON should be in the downloads. We'll just go to downloads. Get this. Okay, one structure successfully imported. Okay, so now that
So
I've
now
imported it,
click the, open up where it says custom, make sure it's in there. And just go down, is it in there? Okay, imported. Alright, you can name it, whatever, GG, $25.
they
Whatever
hand.
whatever you want. And then when you go back to setting everything up, everything you already put in there will be saved. And then you
I
can just
gotcha.
keep moving forward.
So advanced Monte Carlo, all of this stuff.
So now, for the structure, the top icon,
This guy
one more up,
or this guy?
there's nothing opening up there. It should say, you might actually have to, nothing's opening
in
when
what
you
I
click
do.
that.
I gotta put it in one of these directories, it looks like.
No, no.
These are all like
You have to,
preset.
you might have to close it and reopen it, actually.
Okay. Yes, save structure manager,
It'll be there now.
HRC beta. Advanced,
That's a bug.
bounty custom, J hand, daily, boom. Alright, that's very good information. Can you guys still see my screen, this window?
Not
No.
right now.
And I'll send you the link to how to get those. It's just, you just need the chip, starting chip
Alright.
stack and the tournament ID number, and you import the payouts. It's really fucking great.
Thank you, that was helpful. Okay, so that's set up. We need to redo this briefly. So we said there's like 500 people left, give or take. This is, and the rough average was 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay. This looks pretty good. It says that there's this many people left, though. That's too many. We want it to be like this many people left. So yeah, this is okay. Next, we want the option of 2 big blind, comma, all in. We want this, and we want there to be flatters for the all in, and that should give us our, what we're after. Okay, so now we can look at this, we can run this. Shouldn't take too long. Alright, so this is what we're looking at. So Jeremy was cut off, correct?
You gotta run it down. Click that green thing.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we want it to 10.
You gotta click the reset strategy. Cancel it.
Reset
Hit it
strategy.
again. Hit that green thing again. And hit the bottom box, you gotta check.
You want this? Okay.
Yep.
Ken, you're an HRC wizard.
I mean, it takes a long time. There's so many nuances to it.
Yeah, all of the importing options I have not played with at all. Every time I've done anything with this, it's just building it up from scratch, which when
Yeah.
you're actually trying to analyze hands from a hand history, it's not fun.
It's not the best, right?
Yeah, I have HRC too, but I just don't know how to use it. I have a lot of useful stuff that I'm not using.
I've had it for over a
Well-
year and it's taken me like actually until the last couple months to get pretty proficient at it, doing shit over and over and over again, just to know it's right. And I'm still seeing like little quirky things. For instance, like when you if you change the 3-bet sizes, it affects the openers ahead of you. And I think that's not good.
Mhm. Alright,
And if
so
you put in
we're-
multiple 3-bet sizes, it'll assume that since there is ability to have the largest 3-bet, it'll shrink the openers, the people opening ahead of the 3-better. It'll make their range more narrow and narrow, and I don't think that's good. That's one
Okay,
thing I found that
so-
recently that I don't really like about that I'm gonna talk to them about.
Alright, so we're waiting on this number to approach 10. I know that, so it's just running iterations of this simulation in the background.
Yeah, you're pretty close,
probably-
actually. And if you see it stop like advancing, it converges pretty good.
Okay, so just quick comparison. Let's see how, what I like to do before I kind of get going with this stuff is I'll just share my whole screen so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Entire screen. So what I like to do here is, I like to compare the initial output that we're kind of generating versus what we're seeing here in, HRC.
So then click the
So-
far right box, where at the top of the ranges, you got all those boxes. Click the one on the far right.
RFI cutoff. Okay, so we'll put this here. I'm going to put that there. So looking at the range, this is what the 50% ICM ranges are doing in PFA.
Click
You see a
this,
similar.
click the icon, click the icon up top. You see the 6 icons? Click the one on the right above the ranges.
You want this thing?
Above the ranges are, not the box, but yeah, it's the.
Oh, you're talking
right.
about, you're talking about this.
'Cause it gives
Yeah,
you
okay.
close, it gives you the one all the way on the right. I guess we just have open jam. We didn't really play open sizes, right?
No,
The
no, no, no,
box
no.
all the way on the right, up top. Nah,
You got, just gotta tell me what you're trying to do.
click the box there right above your mouse. The furthest
I
one on
clicked
the
this
right.
box.
Okay, alright, that's what
clicked-
you got there.
This is what this is.
Since there's not a bunch of choices, it's just one color.
Yeah, you see
It's
like
all in.
0.1% of the time it's jamming, but, yeah, so the primary response is just to open, so. What was the scenario now? Like small blind jammed on us, so we wanna look at this. What kind of range they're doing this with? So this is versus this is a jam, so he's jamming like all of his pairs. And all of his suited aces down to like ace nine, all of his suited Broadway. This range doesn't seem too crazy to me. And we wanna look at what the big blind's calling. So we were kind of saying like the big blind is whatever, right? The big blind is actually fairly tight when we kind of look at this range in a box, like not even all the suited Broadways calling. A lot of the pairs are kind of indifferent down here. And then it gets back to like what we're supposed to be doing in the cutoff.
And then if you wanna see your 10% aces, then you click the icon way on the left. Where those six
Right.
are. There you go. That's what you wanna see.
Right, so you can see like 10% of aces is kind of around here at eights. But,
Alright, now hold on and let's compare that to the,
the output
This-
we were kind of seeing here,
this
or no, we
matrix
have,
here.
yeah, we need to see this guy of what the responses here are. So MTT,
Oh, share the screen again.
You can also look at the bubble factor here to see just how much ICM pressure there actually is, or is it? In
there shouldn't be
HRC.
very much at this, yep, there shouldn't be too much at this point.
Right, that's why it's very close to chip EV range. It's almost identical, it looked like.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna just compare it to here. So we wanna look at like 15. Cutoff, RFI. MTT, cutoff.
Look at versus three bet.
And it's going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
different than Pio because the chip distribution isn't equal stacks.
Alright, so we need to look at. Versus three bet, so we need to look at the big blind range. So we wanna see cutoff, no.
No,
This
you
is
see it
wrong.
cut off versus three bet, cut off open,
Yeah.
small blind all in, big blind call.
Yeah, sorry. So we want 15. Why am I screwing this up? I've got too much stuff going on. There's too many words coming in my ears. Alright, so 15. Where is my versus three bet? This is a
Cut off.
different folder. It's
Cut off
here, PC. MTT full ring. 15,
cut off
cutoff
versus three bet.
versus three bet.
There we go.
Alright, so cutoff open, we wanna look at the small blind all in. The big blind all in,
Big blind call.
big blind call. Well, we need small blind all in, big blind call, cutoff strategy. So here's our
Oh.
strategy. We've made it finally. Alright, so. These were produced at in Munker at some point. So I always like to kind of compare like what
So,
HRC is putting out.
the
And
one
you can
that-
kind of see right here. It's getting pretty close along the edges right here at ace eight. It's folding these guys. The 10% of aces rule kind of comes in here. So you got 1.7, obvious clear call here. And down here, it's obviously calling with sevens, which is a little bit below. So I mean, it's like plus or minus a little bit. It's calling with ace jack.
See, the one variation is HRC is doing the actual stacks in play where Pio or Munker here is 15, is 3 stacks of equal. You know, they all have 15, so. it's
Yeah,
like-
and
it should-
you see that the inputs are extremely similar. Is it
Yeah, very
worth having
close.
all of it? When
Very
you have
close.
already the solution that is so close.
Yeah, HRC is a good tool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, alright. Alright, I
It
feel like we
shows
went
the
pretty,
power
pretty
of
in the
our
weeds.
poker coaching charts.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, we can continue with the hand history now. And we've kinda
Alright.
looked at it. Anyways, the conclusion of our little detour there is, yeah, tens is obviously fine to call here. And the floor would be considered somewhere around
Eights.
eights. Eights would be the floor of profitability.
It's interesting though, like the HRC model had ace queen offsuit as having more value than the king jack and king queen suited there.
Very
But it was
good eye there,
calling
Peter.
less.
Yep, very good eye with that because
It
point
does shift to-
three,
It does shift towards ace blockers a bit in the ICM.
Yeah, that was the discrepancy. The poker coaching charts weren't calling ace queen pure, but were calling the king jack there. So
mhm.
Was that river bet necessary? Okay, we have a block to a straight on the river, but I don't know.
Alright, let's see how many members we lost. Alright, we're still at 20. I'm very proud of you guys for sticking around.
We lost two.
They got
We
they
lost
got a
it.
lesson in how to use HRC as well.
It didn't work.
It's
Didn't
all
work.
good.
Alright, I like calling here.
Limb call. Check, check,
I don't know why you
check,
check.
check. Jesus Christ. Now Jeremy bets. What do you think about that?
I mean, he's got jack high. I don't
Yeah,
mind
I'm not
throwing
gonna
a,
win here.
I don't mind throwing a stab out there. I think this
But
is,
if you
I
stab,
do.
maybe you should stab a pot bet or not.
No. You're gonna get bluffed. You're gonna, you're targeting like his auto folds and I think a small
Yeah,
bet.
yeah, that's what I was doing. But actually,
Yeah,
if
a
you
small
think of
bet's
it,
gonna get the job
the
done.
7 is actually probably good because like you kind of hit the straight in the end. So probably, I think Solver would probably go bigger as a bluff. when
That's a
you're
good
blocking.
point, actually. You do block the backdoor straight that came in. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Maybe you do take a big bet on the river.
I'd want a heart in my hand, one heart.
Yeah, I thought that the block bet would do good, but probably the more effective side is still.
Yeah, I maybe was undervaluing the 7 there on the river. I still think in game, I'm just kinda like whatever with a smaller bet. So it did pick pot size, huh? No, this is
That's
turn.
the
that's
turn,
the turn.
Yeah, this is just turn.
Still check.
We don't even have, oh, we're suited, okay. Or I thought we were offsuit, so can't have a heart. Without having a nuts.
He's not supposed to be checking a lot. Somehow he's supposed to be checking with ace king.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I guess you're just protecting.
Is there a heart with those ace kings? Checking ace king with a heart, maybe?
Okay,
Did
so
you get
if
to
you,
bet,
if
right?
you
Did
bluff
you get to
this
bluff that?
river, you're bluffing pot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, you probably have to bet bigger. So it's still check,
That was
huh?
the,
You just hopefully you run into what the
Without
That's
the
hell?
heart, he
the,
checks.
Okay.
that was the suited combos though, right? We have the offsuit combo. I don't know if it really makes a difference, to be
We
honest.
are
No, we were
suited.
suited. We had jack 7 of clubs.
Not
Yeah.
this
Oh,
one.
did we?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
got confused
I'm
at
wrong.
first too.
So if you bluff this river, it's big, 7.
I don't know why he checked back ace king. Is he supposed to check back ace king?
Yeah, he was, funny
Sometimes.
enough.
Yeah, was
Yeah.
it?
That's
You
very
idiot.
suspicious.
Yeah,
I thought it
I'm-
was like, what
I'm
the
with,
hell was he
I'm
playing?
with Louis.
Oh, look at this bing the
Oh,
turn.
polarized.
No, he got nothing.
Yeah, I like that hand. That was good.
I mean, I was probably gonna barrel any turn anyway, I think.
Yeah, probably so.
Of course you were. You had pocket fours. You're gonna blast off.
Yeah.
This, you probably should need to open this queen 8. The queen 8 offsuit. It's pretty
Nah,
close,
I
right?
don't
Well,
where?
30 bigs, maybe not. Button maybe. I don't think so.
Let's just take a seat.
I'm not opening it. Queen 8
30
off.
Yeah,
RFI.
This is
I
so
don't
weird.
even open king eight off from the cutoff, to be honest.
Maybe I can bet the flop. I don't even know.
You
Man.
need to range
Ace nine off.
better.
Dude, it is like 10 big blind. Like, if I bet, like, I
It's
get
cl-
shoved on,
It's
do I-
actually close.
Am I really happy to call it off here?
It's a jack eye board, you're against a big blind.
And I don't know what his planning rate looks like. He probably has. Like, what am I supposed to do? You bet small?
Jam.
Jam
in his
looks
face.
interesting.
Put in his face.
I don't think they have 10 big blind solves for video wizard. I'm not sure. No, they do.
There's no.
I told you there's no 10 big blind spot.
I like betting a little bit. It's better than what you did.
But when he jammed to river, it's like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah. On an ace river where.
Yeah, and
has
an ace
way.
as well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This
Like,
should never
the whole
happen,
way.
but he
I
should
I
even-
was probably behind the whole way.
Is he
Yeah.
even supposed to have an ace though?
No, he's not.
That's what I'm saying, like,
Vamos.
I'm so fishy.
What are we
I'm
up
like, you ain't
against?
got
Oh
the
my
fucking
god,
ace.
look at how lucky.
Look
you are.
at the scam, Jeremy Chan.
They call me, they call
You're too
me
good.
Jeremy Scamming Aces Chan.
What do you think? How are you gonna win tournaments without scamming other?
Oh my goodness, Jeremy.
Oh my gosh.
So that's how he won.
Ay, caramba.
That's
I
the
got
best.
Exactly.
that's how he won.
exactly.
That's how you make $10,000, man. You crack
Wow.
ace, make it look easy.
No big deal, right?
You haven't witnessed the most lucky part. It was on the final tree.
Really?
That was
You
a
know, just
lucky-
wins a couple
That was-
casual 30-70s for thousands of dollars.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but that was
goodness,
a-
king four offsuit.
Yeah, King 4 is giving me flashbacks now.
King four is coming.
Were you
I mean-
supposed to defend?
Oh,
Just
this
be
is so
patient.
disgusting, man.
King four makes a good raise there, right?
King four is
I
coming.
think so, Tim. I think so, Tim.
He let him caught up, catch up on the river.
Blind versus blind, Paul. When you have an ace high or king eye, you're supposed to check it down. We played it well.
Alright.
Pre-flop saying it could have been a good raise.
Oh, what are we up against again? Oh, okay.
What
Chop.
raise size would you have used, Galen?
Raise size at 30 right there? I don't know, 3x, something like that.
With
It
the
probably
king
does
four.
3.5. Yeah. Yeah, something like
In a
that.
small blind.
I probably can bet this flop, but I
Yeah,
think
with
small
the heart in
blinds-
your hand, ace high board, heart in your hand, this is.
Yeah,
a-
but small blind is in there as well, so it's not.
Doesn't matter, I like a C bet.
Doesn't matter, huh?
Because there's an ace out there.
It's definitely thinner three ways, but you can still get away with it. Especially that's not an equilibrium small blind range there, you know, like they're calling with crappy hands.
Nice.
I think the tens was the most luckiest hand so far against the two players.
And aces and jacks.
Mm. Yeah, because one guy had him almost covered, right? The guy with jacks.
Oh yeah, he was in trouble.
What happened? He had a set?
Some run good.
Dude, we were hovering around the 20 picks for a long time. I was thinking queen jack suited here, whether I wanted to jam here. I'm not sure when.
It's fine to jam. It's fine to
15
minimize as
picks.
well.
Yeah.
You could have even limped there with that as well if you wanted.
I don't do limping.
I don't mind limping late on the button with some of these hands.
Yeah. Vamos.
Right, the button is the position where you do the most calling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say we call the most from the big blind.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Pre-flop.
Overall, yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is, besides the big blind, it's not a mistake to call from the button. I mean, we
Sounds
do have
weird.
calling strategy.
No, this you can have a limping strategy on the button for sure.
Yeah.
Especially late on.
Turn, I'm not sure if it can continue. It's just so weird.
Weird spot indeed, I mean. I think you should be folding at this depth.
Is jamming a
No.
reasonable response?
Yeah, I
so.
think so.
He's
Yeah.
getting 10 to 1.
I think it's a little,
He's
I
getting
think it's a little ambitious.
He's getting
Maybe.
10 to
Maybe
1
it's
on the
button
button.
shove here.
It's an easy call.
This is
Got
ICM
one
already,
pot.
or
So verse RFI, I'm just gonna check something briefly.
Yeah, I don't think the blinds are big enough for him to jam.
So a 20 effective versus like a low jack open, is that what we're dealing with here? Yeah. we are
Yeah,
dealing
it
with a low
must be
jack.
force plus when no
There
ICM.
are some small pairs that if they're I mean, everything is mixing folds below sevens, but if you are V-pipping with some of these smaller pairs, they do prefer jamming. Fours is just a fold, by the
Yeah,
way.
that's what I thought.
Well, it's not a call there with 10 to 1 odds.
No, it's not, Barry.
Yeah, so the thing about pot odds, Barry, is some of the math with that breaks down when you start to take into consideration ICM implications. It's a
Right.
little bit different.
Oh my
Look at
goodness.
this. Did we suck out again? No.
Oh, did we lose against?
Oh, we
the
won
small
against the
stack?
big one. We won against
Oh
the big one.
my word, Jeremy, you should have been out of the tournament here.
Yeah, it could have been. But the guy called with ace jack off, which I thought was pretty wide.
Super.
For like 10, 11 bigs, I think, under the gun to show. Ace jack. Probably a bit tad wide.
Even ace jack suited is a little bit wide. A little bit.
Yeah, ace jack suited might make it. This one I was thinking whether I want to rip it in.
Think it's an
King
all.
queen suited probably does well.
Algos.
Most of
I
his
would
range
jam
is
here.
garbage range. What? And that's goes.
Okay, good size. Now you should never check here. You should size up. 6 or 7 big blinds. Why
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can even stuff here.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah,
kinda get in that
that's
trap
tough.
too. I think like the most optimal response here is a little closer to 7, but I still stuff these spots sometimes.
I don't like.
Yeah.
stuffing.
Uh,
Think you should bet turn.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you definitely bet turn.
I would have bet medium to big, yeah.
You're missing some double barrels, Jeremy.
Yeah, you do seem to kind of lean towards this bet check bet line for whatever
Too
reason.
passive. Okay.
Yeah, I think you gotta continue here.
Yeah, this one I
Oh,
just don't want
man.
to continue. This is like
So,
one.
okay, so if you're gonna fold this turn after you pick up equity like that
Don't call
versus
it.
small, don't call the flop. Just overfold the flop, cuz it's okay calling the flop if you continue where you need to here.
I'm
But
not.
if you're not
folding
continuing
here.
here,
Yeah.
you can't fold here. That's like one of the
Yeah.
best cards for your continuing range, to be honest, like,
You call to
Yeah.
get a heart or a 10
you do.
and you got a heart, so you need to call.
And he's giving you the right
ICM
price.
already.
Yeah, this
As a
is
GTO
well, this
call,
is
I
well
just felt like
ICM.
in that spot, it's like I was thinking, what are his bluffs that would bet small here?
It's well ICM adjusted at this point of the tournament, whoever asked.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another one. I think we probably just put this in sometimes.
Yeah,
Quite
just
frequently.
stuff it.
Yeah,
Stuff
we'll
it.
stuff it. I'm putting it in 100%.
Especially earlier, we had 25 bigs, so I'm more concerned about losing that stack, but
You have a
Mhm.
lot.
Dodging
here we
bullet.
got 11.
11's
I would have gone
plenty.
out right there.
Good thing he did
Yeah.
not, yeah.
Yeah. It's fine.
Small ball, baby.
We were a big line for a second.
Nice, nice little lead.
You like that lead?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
7-eye board, low connected.
Vamos, all in. Very nice. Beautiful. Things that are made out of dreams.
Yeah.
Now we got a stack.
This is good. I was wondering if you ever flat here, but.
I did consider flatting there.
Okay, I remember.
I think it's a little too big. I wanna
this is
size
no
this down
bueno.
just a little bit.
Really
Yeah,
scary.
7 bigs, Prix,
Three-
just a
three
tad
bet.
excessive.
So I will say this, Tim, it is a Jack 10 two-tone board. And those are the boards that yield the most polarizing sizes.
Yeah.
No, that's
River.
true. Sorry, I'm
Jam,
checking.
ace, king,
I'm
ace,
checking
queen.
pre. I don't like the pre-sizing. We're like 35 bigs effective and we're 3-betting
Oh,
3.5.
you're talking about pre. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
We
like
could shave
adjusting
like
the
half a
size.
big off.
It depends
Actually,
how many, it depends how far along we are in ICM. You do start reducing your 3-bet sizes and ICM spots, I noticed.
Yeah, no,
I
Tim's
just don't know
right.
where we
I am
are
right.
exactly.
But this is
maybe-
against
Alright.
this is deep
Alright,
stack
Jeremy.
against the
Tell you, Louis.
tightest range. So you get to size up here a little more, I think.
You're
Tell you,
right.
ace, king, ace, queen, just jam here.
Yeah,
Look
you're
at
right.
it,
You have some all
43%
in.
jam.
I'm surprised.
This
to
is
see
one of
that.
our favourite boards.
So
this is
Jeremy
not
was
a
right.
turn the
because
jack.
Jeremy went right in on this board. But you see
It's good.
pocket kings is mostly.
Yeah, pocket
bet
king's
small.
probably, the diamond one especially, just don't wanna, because like, I think it's blocking a lot of.
I think this is very well played. I think this is good.
Yeah, but I probably misplayed this combo, because the diamond one basically blocks everything that has equity.
Definitely wants to do with queens because they need a little bit more protection. as
Yeah,
well.
I
So
think
once-
Exactly.
that's why I was thinking whether I want to do jam that spot, which is probably fine. Yeah, Galen, I was considering flatting kings there, and then I looked behind all my old guys' 3-bet stats, that's less than 5%. I was like, nah, I'm not risking this.
Well, that's fair. That's the only reason I was thinking about flatting
Yeah,
is because.
I did look, I was like, can somebody just have more like 11% 3-bet? I would gladly put this in my plan where, like, someone's gonna take the bait behind, but like, I
Yeah, if
was like,
someone
oh my
squeezes
God,
it
less than 5%
really.
for everyone. I just
Yeah, that
decided to do it
stinks.
myself.
Jamming under the gun 5, that's maybe, this is an interesting spot.
Yeah.
I think I might flat here some. I might just call that.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I
I
was
think
you,
it's-
I would call, but I'm not.
King,
probably
queen, you
fine
can call.
folding.
King, queen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
maybe
call,
so.
I don't. King
King
jack,
jacks to lose.
yeah.
This guy can wake up,
what about king jack suited?
call.
Like,
That's a
King Jack
slam
suited is a
dunk.
call. King Jack suited is a call.
Okay,
It's-
Yeah, this is where the Chinese guy starts coming in. This
Why's it
one
gotta be
is-
Chinese, Jeremy?
You need to call once.
Yeah. Oh, this one I don't.
The board pairs, you should bet small here.
But yeah,
You
you were saying
can.
that I should bet small or bet
Yeah.
one big.
This is a bet small spot, Jeremy. Did you look at
Galen,
it
can you run
already?
this? Can you run this on Odin? Because I ran it on GTO Wizard. They only ran it on small sizing. So I want to see
No,
if
but
this.
it's always a small sizer.
Not
I
too
can take
sure.
it. I can. take
Because
a
when we're
peek
deeper,
at
I know
40.
that we have to bet a bit bigger. on
So
turn,
5,
but GTO Wizard
3,
runs it.
You can bet small and then
Small
blast
size.
good turns for you.
40
Bad
effective,
turns you can give up.
button, big
Or rivers,
blinds,
I mean.
raise.
That's
Thing is, we have
small,
a lot of
that's
free
small
hands.
blast, good rivers.
I mean, like, can you hear me actually?
So I mean, our guy didn't really polarize the flop, like that's a
Yep.
very small flop bet, so you're not gonna see like a. Huge frequency of donking here on the turn, but it's gonna,
No.
it's still gonna, it's gonna be a thing. I would think.
What does
So we
Odin
check.
say?
I'm working on the node right now, so we're gonna say like.
Check
Small
that small call.
This. We call. And then the 3, we get an offsuit 3. And, on the turn,
Small
oh,
bet.
I was wrong. There's quite a bit of donking.
Yeah,
It's definitely
Um,
donking. It's just big bet or small bet.
small.
It's primarily small. There
Bingo.
is there's a couple combos that go big, but not very many. There's like 16 combos that go big. Well, there's
What are the
100
combos?
combos. King 3, queen 3, 9-10 does it some?
Is it
Like the-
depending on suits or?
No, it's 3x with
Uh,
a good kicker.
It prefers not
That is
having
not
the
ace three.
spade. This is not a combo that does it a bunch, to be honest. 6, 7, let's see where 6, 7
Six,
falls.
seven
out.
probably just betting small then, because I
This
saw a
is-
GTO widget. it's
Your,
just
your,
small
your
bet.
6, 7 is a half check, half small bet. But there are some combos that it starts creeping up.
And then give him like a, 8 of heart rivers. He blast it.
If you go small and we get 8 of hearts after a call,
Yeah.
we call and you wanna see like 8 of hearts. Our response is, all your 3x is going bananas.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Queen 10 is going pretty bananas, funny enough.
Oh, Jeremy is starting. Oh,
Look at this. This is why. You're annoying.
so this must be the final few tables, right?
Yeah, I think this was. Pretty sure you remember this, right?
Yeah, they definitely laid deep in, in the tournament. Look at this. Call with queen, ace queen. I like that. Bet, good. Turn, we blast. Very good.
In your guys' opinions,
This
what short
guy's
stacks?
name. Oh, no, it's just a, okay.
Easy game.
Five, yeah.
Oh, you want,
Is
yeah,
this a
you want.
turbo?
In the
Is
clicking,
it
that
turbo?
was so good. That was so good.
This guy was
And
so
he
pissed.
folds.
I mean, with the
Jam on
diamond,
the
I'm
way
just gonna
down.
let him keep bluffing. If I
The
didn't have a
thing
Yeah,
is-
that's
diamond,
what I was
I don't hate the
thinking, but then
raise.
I don't think he would blast. He would continue the river.
He's so polarized there. What does he do if he has an ace? He's done for.
Man, this is goofy to me, to be honest.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like this as well. Louis was shouting for a raise. I mean, it's probably fine, but
Yeah, I'm pure.
I think
call.
raising's fine. I'm gonna say I think raising's fine. I just think,
I think he probably just shove you and like to
No,
I
no,
would-
no. Click it.
Click it looks so strong.
Clickety, click it.
oh, it does look strong. It looks like you're saying I don't have any bluffs.
Yeah,
Is
I
what
know,
it's
right?
saying.
Which is why. I
Like if
hate
I'm gonna jam that, at least I have something like king, queen of diamonds or something.
Right.
Bingo, yeah, I think our only size here should be all in. It's like 80%, 70% pot. It's not big.
Yeah, you're not gonna get this in GTO because we're never flatting ace queen.
I'm sure there's gonna be
Our
some.
range is
others.
so different now. yeah.
Sometimes I'll be sharing screen and say I wanna screw with someone and LP yells at me for doing that shit and then he's getting that, then he's screwing with people here.
What?
You've yelled at me before. This is just fucking with people right now.
Dude, do
There
you
go.
think,
When you
I
click
still
it,
think this
it's
is probably a
fucking-
jam free flop.
Sorry.
This is final two tables, right? We're probably supposed to steal jam free flop.
Well. Say we don't. And then say we have like, ace ten?
Now I would take out the king 10, queen 10, jack 10 suited hands and then just jam the rest of them, still with the ace sense.
You're the big blind. You get to, or you're the big stack. You get to push people around whenever you like. Flop,
That's what I was
turn,
saying,
river.
but then, but I think it actually makes sense that the guy who's opening there shouldn't be too wide as well. So, yeah.
But does
Maybe he
this
did
Chicho
fold. Maybe he
wizard
did. Maybe he
considers
did fold ace
ICM
king there. Who the
adjustments?
hell knows whether he folds ace king there? Because it looks so strong. Like ace king might not even be a bad fold at that point.
Yeah. It might even
Yeah.
like
We
I don't
probably
know
did
that you
ace king folder.
blocking both the spade and the diamond continues.
Exactly.
I don't know that like you can check raise that flop a lot too.
Exactly.
Does this wizard considers the
I don't
ICM?
know about check raising because you have ace x high, right? So like
Look at this, click it. With the diamond in your hand, you click it.
when he bets big, huh?
Well, he's
So you're just ripping it in. That's what I was saying. You just rip it in because most of the time you're gonna rip it in.
Ah, no, you can raise small. You can click it.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah,
Look
it's
at
got
this,
some raise small.
9.65. He bets 4, you raise to 9. Click it.
Does
Half
GTO
of the
user count
time.
for?
Imagine if he actually folded.
You're right, I guess you can jam plenty as well. I mean, but if you look at the hands that are closed, like, it's all clicking, right? Click, click,
Yeah.
click.
It'd be so funny if he folded ace king here.
There's no way you fold this king.
Why wouldn't he? He's so strong.
There's also a consideration that, we're looking at chip EV post flop solutions. It may
Yeah.
be a bit differently. If,
Exactly.
we kind of adjust these guys, but
Exactly.
I
Oh,
don't
this is
know.
when the Brazilian puts us in the shit spot, huh?
Oh, now, we were first for a little while, we were bullying the tables and everything, but something unimaginable happened.
No. Louis made me cold.
No, no.
No.
What I'm trying to say is. This guy here is now the chip leader and he's in position on us and he's gonna make it a little bit tougher for us. So we open, get away.
This is final table now?
No, 2 tables.
Okay.
Wait, no, it's actually 3, right?
A final few. Think that at this point, there's like
No,
25.
no. It's 3 tables. I remember the Brazilians shifting one more time to opposite our
Yeah,
table. This is final
Yeah.
3.
so 25 left, right?
Yeah, something like that. Less than 25 for sure. Look at how many we have on this table. It's only like 20 players left or something.
It must be a turbo this one then, is
Look
it,
at this
Jeremy?
one.
No, it's
What?
a slow structure.
Oh. Seemed to have got through the hands real quick.
It went quick, you think?
Seemed to go pretty quick, yeah.
We've been going really fast, like you've been clicking through them fast, which is
I've been pushing buttons for 1 hour, 45 minutes. I don't know about you, Barry, but I felt every single fold.
Oh, this is the one.
Oh my god, this is not, this
You got
is
lucky.
like, yeah, this is terrible. So should we raise pre-flop? That's the first.
Yes, I
Oh.
think so.
Should probably mix. it.
It
No,
often
yeah.
raises, but I guess it raises less in ICM, so, maybe you raise this
This is
30% of the time.
a strong hand. This is definitely a
We
strong
don't
hand
care
to
if he
be raised.
free bets us, we have to throw it away, right?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
you care a little bit. I mean, you start to do that less and less as ICM gets more and more intense.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me look at a final table scenario and just to see how like heavy ICM, how we approach this blind versus blind when we're at these stack
You
depths. So
can
it's
just
like,
pull up your HRC and change the multi-table model to 23 people.
I guess that would be true.
You have it all there. It's all saved.
Yeah, looking at these 7 and 6 big blind stacks, you just don't want to play a big pot with this guy. You just keep everything small.
Our problem is I don't know if we know how many people are left in the tournament. I think we can say final 2
25.
tables. We could say
25.
final 25.
Not yet, not
Well,
yet.
it's less than 25 probably. The most it could be, if there's 7 here and say there's 8 at the other 2 tables, that's 23.
Yeah, that's
So
about.
I'm
it.
just gonna, I'm gonna click
thought it
advanced
would be
money,
better.
Carlo.
I
Yeah,
thought
but
you
like-
better to raise this combo. Than
Oh,
and then call the raise.
Hello?
No, you just wanna avoid getting in a tangle with the big stack here.
So if he raises, we're
Like,
just folding there. That's what we're saying. Because that seems nitty.
And he was obliged to let us limp quite a bit, if I remember. He raised you a couple times, but he was letting you limp a good bit. When you just went blind.
No,
against
but
the
let's just
blind.
say we don't know the guy.
Well, we
if we
did, we
don't
got
know
to
the
know,
guy-
it. We did, we got to say it, that's how
Yeah.
I know.
But in the same scenario, if we don't know this player here now, are we just gonna limp fold to a raise?
No,
no, but we're
Or
gonna
are we gonna
we're gonna
are
play
we
a much
planning on
smaller pot,
Right.
right? Like it's
'Cause
if we get raised, like we don't want the pot to get bloated.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of block
player-
betting on
Yeah,
the
we,
river.
we don't mess with chip leader. That's it. Easy. Just say.
25 people left, so we'll go to next. And
allow open limps. You gotta put a limp in for small blind. Well, maybe you don't. I don't know if you have to actually put that in or not. I forget.
Share the screen,
We're just-
Gavin. We wanna see.
sure, we'll work through it. Let's see. So I'll do window HRC beta. Okay, so we need the opened, we need more open sizes though. So we're gonna do 3.5 big blinds.
Yeah, there's
And we're
no
gonna
two
do-
from the small blind.
We're gonna do 3 big blinds to see if it prefers that, and we're gonna just get rid of 2 for the reasons Ken's stating. It's not
This
really
is
a
weird
thing.
because in mine, it has a special spot just for the small blind opens.
Adds, add small blind complete. Here you go. So we don't need, we don't need this, so we can have 0 limps, but adds the small blind complete. And we don't need to worry about this, cuz we're just gonna be looking at the blind versus blind scenario. And the betting is probably fine. We gotta take all in out just because you're not gonna be open jamming 40.
No.
3-bet response, though. We need to give him a reasonable 3-bet. I think all in's probably acceptable.
It's probably like
But-
2.5 X from blind versus blind, isn't it? Like 2.5?
Wait,
think
can
like-
you change, the simple, just the basics to advanced? Because you're gonna run longer like that. So you
This
just
should
wanna run,
be,
Oh, that's the problem. Yeah, click that bar. This is why I'm looking at this as strange.
yeah, simple, click it
bar
to
you're talking about
advanced, so
this?
you just
There you
focus on,
go.
yeah.
This is nice. So you see, the small blind has its own
Yeah.
options. It's,
Yeah.
the big blind, and some of them they put in are pretty
Yeah, it's
good,
gonna take forever.
preloaded.
okay. Sure, we'll look at this. And then, I'll tell it to run while you guys can maybe continue looking at stuff. I'll just say,
Wait, you're running on
Gotta
all?
click the reset
What's the-
strategy.
okay, yeah, this reset strategy thing I've never really used.
Why do we get to use this, Ken?
It clean, it's, what I know is it cleans up the, artifacts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not disputing it. It's just a button I've never really clicked. So you're saying like if there's like some goofy stuff going on with random hands, it kind of.
Honestly,
cleans
Galen, I
calls.
don't know. I'm guessing.
Josh.
Oh,
was
okay.
doing-
Josh always said, Josh always clicked it, so I click it.
Hey, to be fair, okay, like Josh is very smart. And if he's doing it, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, it's good enough for me.
We might all be
Yeah,
buying
we're-
his software soon, huh?
Yeah, pretty crazy
Honest-
building that thing.
Yeah, honestly, this is like, the more and more I use HRC, like, it's probably the best all-around tool at the price point for looking at like individual spots. What HRC does not do well is like, look at larger sample things, like, if you wanna look at 5 or 6 hands really quick, like there's other tools for that, that are pretty good. But if you really kinda wanna get in the weeds with one specific spot and all the specific intricacies of it, HRC is probably the best thing.
You could build your own ICM ranges with it as well, which is what Josh did to make his tool.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet.
That must have taken him, quite a while.
Very, very, very long time.
I just don't understand what is the difference of the Josh program with, let's say, ICMizer trainer. ICM
It's very
trainer.
similar, honestly,
Very similar to
Maxi, it's like,
ICMizer.
Josh
Yeah, it's
program
Apple-
can read the HRC file outputs with, like, no other program can do that right now.
it's honestly, it's apples and oranges. Like, I think HRC has done, I think HRC is a better program than ICMizer, but they're designed to do basically the same thing.
ICMizer is
Uh,
more like push fold, has less
It
nuance.
is. Yeah, yeah, that, I agree. Alright, so I'm just gonna cut this off. I know it's at 25, but we just kinda need like an idea of what we're doing
Yeah, I mean,
here,
if it's solidly
so,
in there, it's good, right? Like, we'll know if it's.
right. So like, just to give you an idea,
Now click, yeah, there you go. So this gives you their.
so we're calling some, but I mean, the primary strategy when you're this deep looks to be just like raising.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I mean, this looks reasonable to me, to be quite honest. You're calling the worst of the worst.
Oh, hold on a second. Something's wrong. You have it opening 8 big blinds.
Mount big blind. I thought this was a 3-bet that I put it as an option. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now that I gave it that option. Yeah, this
Go
is
back, you gotta
wrong.
go back to the beginning.
Yeah, I'll just start it over. You guys can continue, or we can play with this for a little bit. It's really up to you guys. So advanced Monte Carlo, this was fine. This was fine.
Also change it to 2 players.
2
it's-
player, oh, it'll make it easier. That's right. It'll
It'll
be,
go faster.
it'll go quite a bit faster. Okay, so 2
Next.
players. This is okay.
Now, hold on. So small blind, no, scroll up. This is what happened. You went through this too fast. Scroll up. Small blind opening, 3.5 is good. In position. So this should all be good. Small blind versus big blind, 3 bets. Yeah, what did we do here? Open.
I made these the open sizes.
Yeah, so the
3.5
basics,
big
you
blind.
shouldn't have to screw with this. I don't know if what this might have messed something up. Cause when you're in the
Right.
other format, like you don't even look at any of this stuff.
Okay, so I just
So
I reset
small
all those to
blind,
basics.
Small blind, 3.5, like you can make general 2.0 or whatever. For button
I think
and,
this,
cause everyone else is opening 2.2x. It shouldn't matter, but this looks like. Big blind versus small blind. Open 3. So when they limp, they make it 3.
this looks fine. It looks
Yeah,
good.
it should be fine. I
I-
don't know why.
I
Now, hold on
think
now. Click preview.
Preview.
Now, small blind, why does it have open amount 7.8? Something's fucking wrong here. Oh, small blind call. Oh, there's the call. Small blind raise. So that when he raises, he's making it. Okay, that's good. So this wasn't shown before the call, the half chip, right?
This
Go
is
back to
what,
hand 2
okey doke.
before you finish
Uh,
this. It might be there. Just click the hand. Maybe I just misread it.
I can't go back unless I close this out, which is.
Yeah, well, you have everything saved. It's fine. It'll still be there. Small blind. Oh, it is
So-
there. So hit the call. Yeah, there it is. You're at the wrong one. Highlight the one above it. There.
Okay. So this is like the
Oh.
same range. This is the same range we were just looking at. So. So this is the check node and this is what they're doing. So. So versus a call, we're raising, or we're raising versus a raise. Is what it looks like I'm seeing here. So. Actually, it's splitting the raise size for some odd reason. So there's like a clicky raise, it looks like, and then there's like a big raise. Is that what we're seeing here?
Well, yeah, it must have been the input. Like you can change the input to make it the bet sizes you want.
So anyways, what we were looking at is the small blind. Raise strategy. But it is raising to this number. I don't know what's going on here. There seems to be something weird.
It
I
should go
haven't played with,
3.5 is the open, right? So,
that's what it should be, right?
yeah, so that's,
Is
7
this a
and a
limp
half.
raise? Is this a limp raising range? Is this what we're doing here? No.
No. Do you only
Small
have the
blind.
big blind calls? Is there a raise range for the big blind?
The small blind, the small blind is only calling or jamming. It's not raising
No,
small.
hold on, small blind lamps, big blind raises. What about if the small blind raises? Is there a raise range for the big blind? The very last
Yeah.
line. Open
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's
No,
just,
no,
it's splitting.
But hold on, is there a raise for the big blind after you, if you open the 7.96? Click the, yeah. So
There's
there's
just a
no,
call
here's the
range.
problem. There's no raising range for the big blind. This is why it looks fucked up. You didn't put a raising range in for the big blind. He just is calling, you got a flat in there, something for the big blind. You only get, you have them only flatting. So that changes the pre-flop strategy a lot.
So 2 here, there. Next. This looks okay. Next.
So
So
big blind 3-bet is in here. Now I'm wondering what is, you were in this other node that I don't mess with. That's where the mistake must be. So in this simple mode. There must be.
I
a
reset that.
mistake in here.
I reset everything to standard.
So maybe just close it and start over and then erase it. It feels like it's stuck on just having a flat for the big blind.
Okay.
You can check here, but yeah, I would just restart it. I think it should go away.
Yeah,
But
maybe
that-
so.
That's what messed up the pre-flop range.
HRC advanced Monty. So we want 2 players max for simplifications. All these inputs should be good. Next, it's saying 8, so we want to make this 25 players remaining. 25 average, this looks okay. Next, basic. Advanced is what we wanna use. Standard inputs, small blind adding complete, so there's the limp, so that should be good. So
You
we'll
can
let it
check the
run real
preview
quick.
before you run it, just to make sure that there's, the big blind still just isn't calling without an option to raise. Save you time.
Well, you see what it's doing here for whatever
LP
reason.
stole the
like-
screen back.
Oh, it's doing the same thing though.
I don't
So
know
if
where
we
the
call,
I don't know where the problem is.
yeah, I've done 0 blind versus blind things with HRC beta, so don't really know. I'll play with it though at some
Next.
point.
So on the turn, we should be betting pot. Look at this, Jeremy. 100%.
Yeah, I could
King
just.
nine,
import
pot.
this.
Yeah, we're checking a lot of this one. This is not the, so you click on reports.
Hang on.
Alright, gents, I gotta take off. Got a little stuff to do this afternoon. Congrats on your win, Jeremy.
Thanks a lot, Gavin. Good one.
Take it easy.
See you, Galen.
So where do you see in the analyzer where it says bet pot, what's the frequency in betting? The one that has the most percentage is the one you bet the most, right?
Here. You see all the
Click,
combos.
click on
and
reports, click on reports. So you know which cards are like the best turn for him.
Can you send me that one hand history? I'll run it in the background while you're looking at shit.
And click on equity. Equity, small blind, big blind. No,
We're in the-
right below it.
We're in the
Right,
big
right, right.
line.
No,
small
on
blind.
the left, right below, yeah. Wait, what's the card on? Sort by suit. Oh, you're sorting by suits. Is he on the right? Sort by suits. Why is yours different?
No, it's not sorted by suit. You see from the deuce to the ace, everything above the 8 is pretty good for you. But that's not what you should be looking for here. Here we bet pot and he raises, so. Facing the raise. So we bet pot and he's raising.
Yeah, he 3x's your raise.
Yeah.
Like, here's the problem with playing an aggressive line. Like, you just
Wow,
get
they
in
even
a
jam
really
in
bad
his hand,
spot.
but some fold.
All three, man, you're mixing heavily. You could fold this turn.
Yeah, I probably can fold already.
So I thought because it was blind versus blind that you had to call, that there was no way around
Yeah.
it. But as we see, I
Probably.
was wrong.
I think it's why when he puts in, there's not a lot of bluffs going on, I think.
And you see, you know what, Jay? If you look at the blockers, like having a 9 is actually pretty bad here, clearly.
Yeah.
9 or a 10 are the two worst blockers.
I don't know why 10 plays.
I didn't think
Nine
it
is
was
nine
all
makes
because-
sense because 9, 7, 9.
Having an 8 or a 7 is a lot better because you have outs to making like some straight, so you block this, the.
I mean, you get to fold king, queen, like this is sick.
Well,
Queen
king
just too
queen
strong.
is pretty heavy call, mostly a call.
Yeah, but I
Jack
mean, it's
mostly
still
a call.
folding.
But when you look at, you see the back blockers, right? The worst blockers, the 10. So it's not instinctive, but we have the second worst blocker on this turn. So this is a
We
fold
don't block.
because of our blocker. We block the bluffs.
We don't block.
Can you send me the
Yeah.
hand history real quick, just for the hell of it? I'm gonna see if I can run it, even though it's not a big deal.
Yeah, the other thing to think of is like we have ICM here.
Yeah.
And we're a medium stack against the big stack. Like, this is just the worst case scenario for us.
So we were put in
And
the
it-
box, we call,
Oh my god.
check the river, and he does that. But you guys have to understand, there's like 20 players left at this point. And this spot has spun out of control.
Yeah, if this was
Thing
a
is,
three,
you don't really want to call that raise when you know that he's going to barrel again as well.
Yeah, he will barrel the river, so.
Larry, you have top pair blind versus blind at a super short.
But you know he's going to barrel again though, Louis. So unless you're willing to cool down, you've got to fold there when he raises.
But some people might bluff Barry. Say if they have a hand like 10-4 suited, they decide to do that, and then when they hit the 10, they check back, and then you win. So you
Right.
can't say like you're
What,
gonna
you
fold
think he's
turn.
going to slow down? When
If
you
he
bet
hits,
pot,
if he hits a
comes over
10
the
when
top.
it's 10-4, why would he barrel one more if he knows you can have him trapped as well, right?
When
So
you
it's
make
not-
that pot size bet and he comes over the top, I just think you're in a bad situation right there.
It's
Yeah.
not a great one, but I don't think you can just fold yet. Maybe river you can fold. Because river is probably
Because-
very underbluff in this.
yeah,
You
what
know he's
out of
going to
position,
fire again.
what hands do you start to block bet? You said a 10 or 9 is not good. So what hands do you start to lead out here out of position on the river?
Wow, he even wants to call the river.
If we make it here, we call the big bet.
Yeah.
Where it's mixing the most is on the turn. So this is where the note gets tricky. We should be folding here because 9x, 10x hands are bad. That's what I pick up from this hand.
I see.
If you river
so-
king 10, you never folding?
You have like king 7 here, you snap it off. You have like king jack here, you snap it off. It's just like king 10, king 9 is bad to have for this particular scenario. So this is where we should have got away from it. And I think you like, yeah.
Is it wrong to say that, oh, maybe the big blind's not bluffing as much as a button, or is that like irrelevant?
While the big blind is definitely never bluffing as much as he should, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But
right.
is he bluffing more than the button? Probably not, but blind
not.
versus blind.
Hmm.
Like it's very two very wide range that needs to be defended, so it's like two white guys fighting for a pot.
Fighting each other. Okay.
So Jeremy went with the call. As we saw here, it's mostly a call on the river. The place we should mix is on the turn. The guy.
Right, because if you're calling the turn, you should be calling the river most of the time. If not, you're over folding,
Yeah.
I guess.
And now this pot was just like so big and was such a big disaster to be this short, this late in the game.
Can you just the other one other thing with that hand is as well that the action didn't get out of control on the flop, it got out of control on the turn.
Yeah,
And I just think he has so many combos there, like 5-6, king 5, king 6, 3-4. You're dead in the water.
yeah.
Right,
He
so you're
didn't even
folding.
bet the flop. He didn't even bet the flop, but he came over the top on the turn.
Yeah,
R-
so
right.
as we saw, when he raises the turn. We're very heavily mixing. So folding turn, I think is the best play here, but it's tough to find blind versus blind. We move on. It's okay, we lost all our chips. We're probably gonna get 20th place. Or
If
not.
that was a three, right.
Look at this.
Oh,
Jeremy Chan.
Scamistan.
Think Jeremy Chan is done? No, no, no. Is this a raise? I don't think so.
Absolutely. You have
There's a lot
like
of killer
8 bigs
cards,
left.
Louis.
Okay,
You want to get the value from a heart now before it rolls off.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, I
You
agree.
gotta pay for
Order
it. Yeah?
straight, order
He's
straight.
gonna have to pay for it.
what do you guys
Yeah,
do
he-
here? Rip?
Again,
Rip
it's
it.
big stack. This guy's opening line. Easy jam.
Yeah, jam.
This is my favorite part of the game. 20 players left.
'Cause you're a
Pocket
jamming
ten.
machine.
Oh, what do you guys do here?
Easy call.
Yeah,
I call.
he's gonna be shoving some worse pairs here.
Oh, the sweat on the flop, crazy.
Back again. 30 bigs.
30 bigs in a dream.
And a dream. Snap
Uh-oh.
it up.
Easy
Uh-oh.
call.
37 bigs.
Easy call.
Easy call.
Easy call.
Easy.
Easy call. Very easy call. It's a snap
Easy
call.
peasy lemon squeezy.
Wow.
What a flop, eh?
Ooh.
So it's interesting, that king nine, we don't really have much of a limping range blind versus blind in that scenario. It's pretty cool.
This is how you win tournament. Just run good. Win your 70-30.
Is this the FT? No, right?
No, it's not. It's not. Then look, the Brazilian has moved to opposite us. So this is the final two.
Yeah,
This is the
final two tables.
So we're just hanging around now. We're just hanging around, just waiting. Yeah, this one is pretty
This is
interesting.
terrible.
Really?
Why is it
With ice,
terrible?
with ICM, you're jamming 30 bigs.
Why is what is he gonna call with?
This is just an absolute ICM punt. Like you
Look
don't,
at this, 7 big blinds here.
you're not at the final
12
table, are
big
you?
blinds here.
No, we're not on the final
Two
table.
tables.
Final 2 tables. This guy has to call so tight here, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what
he
happens when he
does.
wakes up with one of those hands? I mean, even like he's calling tens off.
I don't think he
10s
calls
plus.
tens. I think
Sure he
he's
does.
not fold tens.
HRC it. I would bet money he calls tens.
He's calling tens.
Wanna look it up, Ken?
Sure.
Cause this is I think it's a fun one.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because it's ICM, I think Peter could be right. I think it's probably more of a call than a jam.
I think it's a
It's
pure
probably more of
call.
a jam against, the button than the cutoff as well.
When cut off, probably.
I don't think you're
I
gonna be
think
just
you're right.
ripping 30 bigs in a lot here.
Yeah, like
I
it's-
think it's a
lose.
pure call.
It's medium stack against medium stack, so the pressure is going to be high. It's going to be, north of 10% that you have to be tighter by. So I don't think you get to squeeze the sixes here quite so much. And I mean, you're 30 bigs.
I mean, I don't know, it's standard chippy, like I wouldn't know honestly what to do here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
chippy
if
V,
it's a standard
fine.
chip EV, but like,
Right?
Is it,
Yeah, probably
if
not.
you're playing 10% tighter, do sixes still make that cut?
I don't know. So I mean, I don't know.
Is that what it is? 10% tighter, Peter? Is that what it is?
Well, I'm guessing that that's what your risk premium here is.
I mean, I think I would have jammed it, but
Because you're middle stack against middle stack, right? You have lots of guys who can bust before you.
he's button or cutoff.
Cut off. Plus, what happens
30
if he's
bigs
calling too
effective.
wide? What if he calls with like Jack 10 suited? Like who? It's just, I don't know.
We were at that table. Was that a full table?
Yeah.
One short.
8 max.
Yeah, 8 seat.
So we'll say there's 16 left.
Yep.
It is a punt, isn't it? 100%.
I don't know yet.
In my
Oh.
eyes, it is.
Well, you say he's just going to wake up there with a bigger pair a lot of the time.
No.
You know,
Not really.
we've got all the
Guys just
we've got all
open,
the odds to set, man.
you cannot call because there's a 7, there's a 12. The 30 big blinds, do you know how tight he has to call here?
We're
Yeah,
not on
like
the final table though,
10s,
Louis.
maybe 9s, probably
Like-
10s.
Nine's probably not.
Oh,
10's
then-
plus maybe. I think it's got to go 10 plus.
I'm
And
never-
then,
I
like,
reckon he's going to be tighter on the final table, but with a couple of tables in it still.
and then
Probably ace jack suited plus ace
No way.
queen off.
ace queen off probably folded already. I think you have to have pairs here.
Yeah, the
His
problem
range
is
is-
we're deep enough that we have to have the non-all-in 3 bets with our kings and aces here.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
It's a
yeah, I
mess.
think
Can be a
our
mess.
jam is gonna look a little weaker. Because we're a little too deep.
But what if we have like hands like ace king,
We're not
ace,
jamming anything hardly, dude.
ace queen,
Yeah.
ace.
It's just
jack
too much
is-
to rip in. It's 30 bigs.
Yeah,
dude.
I think ace
I don't
king,
think they-
ace king and jacks probably jam, right?
I'm looking for a similar model, but I think I'm
Share screen.
very solid with this race. What do you say, Ken? You got it?
It's running.
It's probably gonna rip like ace king off and ace queen off, and then like 9s, and that's
So
it.
you 3-bet with 10s and 9s? Can you 3-bet or no? Or just call?
We just got to be a jam, isn't it? At 30. I mean, we're looking for a risk premium here anyway, aren't we? Really? If we're going to jam, right?
This
Right. You're only jamming 10s and
all
plus,
stuff.
or really jacks plus, some 10s.
That's what we thought.
Some 10x, some
Ace
jacks,
king.
and then this, but it's running. It's got a ways to go. This is gonna change a bit.
Look at
The
six.
red
bet
is 3.
6-3
The red
suited.
is 3 bets.
Let's go 3-bet 6-3 suited.
What do you guys jam? Ace queen suited here?
No, a 3-bet.
You see this
Right.
jam small pairs. I'm looking at pre-flop academy on the side. And some matrices, it likes to jam a lot of like,
Sixes are starting to work in. It's still got a ways to go for
Okay, I could see now that purple's jamming, okay.
slivers. So I mean, it's not the best option. It makes more money calling.
yeah,
Why is ace queen off there at this ICM? Is that a bluff? Ace queen off?
I mean, it's making $5.
It's raising all in.
I guess.
Got good blockers. You lean on your blockers in ICM, aces and kings mostly.
Yeah. See the king 5 suitors in there, king 9 suited.
Call here.
That makes sense.
Calling is much more profitable.
Where'd they go?
Mixing, right?
It's fair.
This was the small line. It's that king 9 hand. Like, this is interesting to me that the small blind shifts to a mostly open raise range in these spots. Pretty cool.
You were saying earlier, Cap, that you shouldn't be limping blind versus blind always.
No, I would, put that. I mean, I'm mostly limping that hand. It's just.
Right.
Hey, we're just almost always open raising in the ICM scenario.
Right, and in the small blind, you should either be raising or folding mostly, right? In small blind, that's like the worst.
Oh, I mean. You're still gonna defend when they raise. Decent amount.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder how sixes play in a small blind instead.
I know, we are folding.
Probably still calls.
Folding
Probably
Probably
every-
still calls, right?
I mean, I didn't run this all the way down either, but this isn't too far off. Wow, I mean, this is an eye opener for me, honestly.
How many
Yeah.
bigs does a small blind have in this scenario?
They were both pretty deep, small blind and, big blind had them covered. Let's see. How deep were they? I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, you're supposed to limp a lot.
The blind versus blind, it was about 45 and 70 bigs.
Yeah. The
Yeah, they
deep-
were deep.
Yeah. the
They
more-
weren't limping, LP. They're not limping. It's not. It wants to raise. It's raised, folding, like almost everything.
Oh, okay.
So limp. Big blind, raise, small blind is only calling this shit. I didn't run it all the way down, so this isn't perfect. But it's folding. All this stuff in the gray, it open raised and it's folding it all. Right?
Alright,
Yeah, I'm not raising into a big stack on the final two tables when I'm a middle stack.
Something's wrong with this fucking spot.
this is an example for like, you're the big blind, you're against cutoff. And final table, 8 max. Then I've been looking at scenarios, there's a few of them where you get to jam these pairs. So
Yeah, for sure. Like if we're at the final table and there's like a 5 big blind stack, you can rip this because you can just never ever call.
Well, look at this here. There's a 7 big blind stack.
But it's not the final table. It's still final two tables. It's not really ICM
So
heavy yet.
close.
Oh,
So,
LP, it's a call. I had it up on HRC. It doesn't.
wanna share? Are you
Yeah.
done running?
Where's the screen at? Screen? Say it right?
Like
Okay,
right now, the pay jumps are what, like 3 buy-ins, and then at the final table, they're like 30 buy-ins. So like the ICM just sways so heavily.
for
Once you
this
get
tournament, it was hilarious, okay? The 10 was making 500 and 9th place was 1K. And then 8th place was like 2K.
Here's your raises, your junky suited ace, your aces, your junky offsuit, if you want.
you
your
need to
couple of your
be
best,
blocking the ace call.
Tens and jacks.
Alright, let's continue. Thanks a lot for running it, Ken. So, yeah, it might be a bit of a spicy jam, but we got away with it.
I think we looked at a hand like that before, very similar and had the same outcome.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think I'd probably find a jam there a lot too. It's a mistake.
Sure remember pretty much exactly the same spot.
Oh, I'm gonna look at his call range. We were debating that as well.
Oh my god, again?
We raise.
Hmm.
He's calling nines plus.
Yay, right on the money. Well, what about aces? Ace jack suited plus ace queen off?
What about this one,
Ace
guy?
queen off, ace jack suited mixes, ace ten suited's got a sliver. I mean, if we put it in here, it's gonna be 60. So
Looks scary.
if we do the 10%, it's gonna be tens plus ace queens.
Okay.
I would fold this one.
What do you guys do?
Yeah,
calling?
I would.
I would call a smaller bet, but fold to this larger turn bet.
Like you're facing a lot of shoves here on the river.
We saw earlier, we get to overfold a top pair and a shitty top pair, right?
In a spot like this.
Yeah.
If this was chip EV, you'd probably just hit the call button, but it's, you know, makes a lot of difference once you get to the money, doesn't it?
I just feel like he's got so many bluffs here. I'm bad. I call here, but I think it's a fold now.
No, I think it's mostly fold. I don't know. He's gonna shove it on the river.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Didn't we talk him into
Put it this way.
calling?
We lost him.
It's the same as a hand earlier. We're not calling this unless we're calling an all in. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna call an all in, then go ahead, call it. But
I like,
say
I mean,
chips.
I like.
You don't
call.
base your thought off that. Like, what if he has a spade draw and he just gives up on the river?
Yeah,
Like,
and I felt like
You
he's
don't-
gonna have a fair
you
amount
don't-
of give ups.
You don't
Like-
block the spades, you don't have a back blocker like a 10 here. Or a jack, I think 10 jack is a bad blocker here.
Yeah.
And then,
like if he has king queen,
Yeah, but
what is he
let's
gonna
say he-
do on like this? You think he's gonna go for all of it?
Yeah.
but also like many action killing river, if the flush comes in and he has king, queen, no spade, he's not gonna bluff,
We
right?
haven't got no better kings. We haven't got no better
That was
kings at the
interesting,
moment.
Nick. I think he
And
actually
then
has.
if the flush breaks and he goes in, we kind of have to go with it, I guess.
I'm saying
He's overbetting the
say the
turn.
river's a 10 or a jack or a 7 or a 6 and he has king queen. You think he's gonna jam, go for all of it? Or is that
I don't
I think
think,
it's too greedy.
yeah, exactly.
I
So
think he knows
we
the
call
rules.
this bet and we're done, right?
Yeah. Call this and expect it to go check a lot on the river.
So Jeremy
Right.
makes a big and very difficult call here. Check, check, king, queen, ouch.
I would have gone for all of it with that.
Yeah, I knew it was a fold. I mean, like so the ace high flush is the only hand that is pretty strong enough to bet that much, maybe on the turn,
have-
or what he had.
He should have a
If
lot
it was a
more.
bluff.
He had all the other kings beat. He should have got it in on the river, that guy. I don't know what he's doing checking.
Don't worry about Jeremy. He has a couple of trick up his sleeve.
No, I
Oh.
check back with king queen in his spot.
Happy days. That's small.
This deep in a tournament.
You would have checked, Peter.
What do you guys
Nick
do
would.
here? 18 big blind.
Shove. I don't know, man. Open or shove maybe mixing.
2x.
Problem
2x
is,
fold.
if you open, it's like the bottom of your calling range, right? And it feels so bad.
mean, you gotta
You
consider
don't wanna
some-
rumble against anybody here. So when you jam, you just make it very clear that we're gonna play a hand and you better get out, step out of the way of the train.
The thing is, this Brazilian didn't seem to be getting out of line if I remember correctly. So I feel like he could open here and not get pushed around too much.
I wouldn't trust him. Is all I gotta say. I wouldn't trust him. So yeah,
What do you think about the 9x raise then?
it's
like
like,
that?
He essentially said I'm all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it goes where the two 14s both rejam, like you can get out of the pot then.
Yeah,
think
if
this
he
is
bets
the
9 and
final
it goes
table.
raise, jam, Jeremy can just fold.
Yeah, this is the final table.
Fold. No.
That's a good river card.
Ooh,
I don't think 9s is a call.
I like.
Maybe not.
I'm playing him. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I
Can
think
you
it's,
HRC it,
it's
Ken?
yeah, I think it's probably a fold.
Yeah, I think
I know
it's
it's tight, but
And with so many guys behind you,
I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna really have a calling range. I think it'll be like a 3-better fold range.
I think so. You're in a sandwich, big sandwich.
if you flat with kings there, then you do get the flat with the smaller pair too, right? Like 9s or 8s. So
What do you
I
guys do?
mean, I think it's worth looking into, but that's just me.
This is a fold.
But did we check flop or did we bet? Did he go bet check? He went bet check, right?
Check, check.
It was 3-bet pre-flop.
yeah.
And then check again.
He could have picked up equity on the turn, but I feel like this is a big bet. This is a pretty big bet.
I think it's kind of bad having tens here. I don't hate a fold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
block a lot of
you
bluffs.
block you block queen jack, queen 10, jack 10.
And also
fold.
final table, what is the three bet range of him?
Yeah,
Inside.
three bet small, million click. And this guy was a super reg. He had 1 million in winnings.
Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
Fold.
gross.
Fold.
Yeah, I fold.
No, you gotta stop.
No
I'm not
way,
so
it's a
sure.
suicide.
Use
This guy's-
the time bank.
This guy's a big stack. He's gonna be squeezing a lot.
I'm not stacking. all
Yeah,
the-
yeah,
I'm not
we
stacking.
know
all
that,
the
but we
big
cannot do
ones.
nothing about it. We just need to fold ice and wise. We know that.
We're one of
opening
the
is good.
we're one of the small stacks, and I think we've got a great free bet and jam in hand.
No,
one of the
no, we're
smallest
middle
stacks.
stack.
The guy
Look
coin.
how,
The guy
Look
coin.
look how many middle stacks are here around.
Barry, you're going in here?
I'm going in here, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, me too.
This is one of we're at the top of the
Barry,
road
you're
here.
going in here.
Whoever went in here lost this one already.
Alright. Jeremy, what do you think about this buck, looking at this today? This is a
So
final.
big stack knows we're opening tight, and there's a under the gun +1, which is very suspicious flat. It's pretty strong already.
What kind of
So,
hand
I
can
don't
this
mind that.
player have, Jeremy?
don't know, maybe if he was playing very fishy earlier. We saw him flatting kings, we saw him flatting jacks, and he made some very weird unorthodox lines. So
So,
he
like this
definitely
player,
have aces, kings here.
he can have aces, right? Very heavy. So when under the gun open and under the gun one flat, this guy has a bunch of pocket aces, right? Then when
There's
this
some
guy
available.
squeezes.
Yeah, chip leader isn't going to be ISOing white here.
I'm not gonna lie, I run queens here, but jacks I'm folding, and I went to damn the break honestly too, at the final table before I'm out.
I'm 100% running jacks here.
Yeah. Jack's
Well,
at the bottom of range.
This would be cool. Send me the hand. This would be cool to look at. I
This-
think it's a fold.
This is 100% a fold. Think about ranges. When you have
It's
a
gonna backfire on you, Louis.
Barry,
You say that.
This guy can
100%.
bust.
Barry, when you have a jack in your hand, do you think your opponent has many ace jack in his hands? Many king jack suited?
Yeah,
No.
I think Louis is probably right at this final table.
When you have
No.
two jacks like this and you're playing against early position, it's terrible because you're blocking all of his jack hands. Jack ten suited, never. King jack
Yeah.
suited, never. So all the bottom of his broadways is blocked. And then he has aces. If he's really good, it may be a little bit of kings there. Jesus Christ, just this flat is already super scary. When this guy.
Yeah, I don't
It
think
is.
he's supposed to really have a flatting range. So
Yeah.
yeah, makes me nervous.
Yeah.
You're basing it off an exploit here. Like the guy who flats there should have ace 9 suited, ace 8 suited,
No, he
right?
should not.
Pocket nines.
No.
Absolutely not. No.
This is the Final
No,
table.
Right?
He doesn't
He
have.
shouldn't really have.
Battle. I'm gonna let these guys battle and hopefully this shorter stack busts. I mean,
Every hand you
Exactly.
just listed is a pure fold. Even nines is a fold.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
is a very, very important point in the game because you need to get away from these spots. Absolutely. If you have queens there, I mean, you're just fucked, I think.
yeah, I'm running queens.
Yeah, I
But
am as
I
well.
think
Jacks,
majority
you
of
can
players.
still,
I think
jacks, you can still like, okay, man, this is exactly the spot you get to fold jacks pre-flop and it's perfect like that. So I like
I
folding.
mean,
Jeremy, I think made a very strong play here. He folded.
good fold. I agree.
Oh, surprise, regen, surprise, call.
So why? Because you have one tricky limper, huh?
Ace
No,
high
no one
flop,
limp. No one
ace
limp.
king against ace queen.
So
Look at
those of you that
this.
said
Hey,
you would
Barry.
jam jacks would have busted in eighth
Barry.
in the tournament or ninth.
Barry,
Yeah, but-
you're out of this tournament, Barry.
Out of this one, yeah.
Out. Pete?
But with two dead aces, like
No.
your jacks are looking better here.
Oh, it would be so
Hold
tilting,
the
but they
ace.
still got the
He
queens
can
and
see with his
kings.
king.
This is how you lose or
Yeah,
win
there's still two
10K.
overcards.
So masterful fold by Jeremy here.
I would like to look at it, just curious. I mean, I agree. I thought it was a fold. I like it. But I still would like to see it in the,
You could probably, I think HRC would say jacks is the bottom of the range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most
No
people call
way.
jacks. Most people call jacks there.
Probably supposed to call. I think
Or
he's
raise.
probably break even.
you know what?
with
If he
how
didn't
many-
fold that, he doesn't win the tournament. For thousands and thousands of more dollars.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a snap fold, Ken. Should we double here?
No, never. We're not even supposed to be in the hand in the first place, I think. I think we only limp because this guy's super passive. So we get to see a lot of flops because he's not ISOing enough. And then
Tab
well,
one,
we're just taking a stab on this flop. I mean,
Can we
No, I
shove
would-
this
I would-
hand?
You know, if you
Play
barrel
flop.
here, you win the pot almost every time, right?
I don't think you get a lot of folds on paired boards. I think it's better if the board's unpaired to get folds.
yeah,
I think you
Ken,
get a
but
ton
he's
of folds on
very
paired boards.
passive,
It's hard
so
it's
he-
hard for them to connect.
Yeah, but they just don't ever believe you have anything. So they're gonna
Wait,
defend all their high cards, like, they're not folding over cards, right? So, and it's a 7-high flop.
Right, so.
The range, Jeremy Chan, limping.
I know,
I can
I
get
know
up
this
here
is
and
a
get for
flat,
living.
I know this is a
Yeah.
flat in GBV, but I'm saying that in ICM, there's no way we get away with this one. There's no way.
And I think it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
You're the small stack.
Alright, okay,
Yeah.
okay, see you then, I might, fine. Now, why can't I go for a no.
What were we
Okay,
supposed to do on the flop according to this?
So,
We'll leave again?
yeah.
What happened?
No, it's all good. It's
What was the flop action LP? What were we supposed to
bet
do?
one call.
We were supposed to bet?
No, it's supposed to check.
No, it's a bit of a thing. You can bet.
Oh, it's a check, okay.
one,
I
It's
thought-
fine.
Queen 2-0 is a pure
The
check.
queen deuce zone is not a bet.
Is it not? Oh, okay.
No, pure check.
Well, we bet. On
But
the
this guy's
turn,
very passive. We might get away sometime. I don't know. But once he
Yeah,
bet
'cause
the
the
photo,
four-
he's
okay, not really. Good.
Four's got a bit of straight interaction on it.
just give up, yeah. And then he calls a king three off, which I think he was supposed to jam free.
What's the play
Jam.
here?
Oh, this
Lucky-
is the
lucky-
game changing
Lucky
hand.
sevens for seven.
Pocket seven, you got 7 big blind.
7 big blind with pocket 7. Happy.
7 on the
Oh.
face.
I called. He flats. Who is this guy?
Welcome
You
to
know,
Scamistan.
we had to do the stand up every time we go over.
Every time, Jeremy. I like
Oh, this
betting.
one is interesting.
Check.
Yeah.
Check.
100%. And then turn.
This is not a check, right? You should bet 1 or 2 big blinds here. Come on,
On the flop, Louis?
on the
Yeah.
turn,
On the turn,
Yeah,
of
on the
course,
turn.
Sure.
check the flop.
turn bet.
This is a bet. Nick, you bet
for
here.
sure, for sure.
Yeah, I bet here.
It's still an excellent bluff
Oh,
catcher. It's
man, I
probably a
think
better
this
bluff
is-
catcher.
I think this is a very, very weak check back.
That's why he
I
No
lost
wonder.
it with 2 parent.
But now we get away cheap if he's got a jack. It's great.
Oh, we're not getting away. You can't fold.
No,
No,
we're
no,
we're
no.
calling, but what I'm saying is, it's a great bluff catcher.
He was
Look at all
value
the
matching
money we
2
left
parent.
behind on the turn. We could have had the that turn with bet river.
Probably only gets 1 bet either way, right?
No, I'm going for 2 streets with a
You're gonna
straight.
bet river too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Looks thin going for 2 straight there.
I don't
But then
go
again,
big.
it's like if there's a jack, you probably raise, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I fold to a
So-
raise, and I'll have jacks in my
But
range.
then do we
and
really
jack
get
queen in my
called by
range.
2 pair on the river though?
Yeah, as long as you don't go huge. I
I
make
like the
like
way you played that, Jeremy.
exploitative bets. Fold.
Yeah,
Did
easy
the king
call here.
four happen yet?
It's an easy fold. It's not even close.
Well, here. What do you guys like to do?
Fold.
I mean,
Fold.
I
Easy
could come in
fold.
with a micro 3-bet fold or fold.
I
don't
agree.
wanna- I don't wanna call. I'm either 3-betting or folding.
No, never calling him. It's just whether you 3-bet or fold.
I like a
I don't mind
3-bet.
it. Yeah, 3-bet's fine, I think.
I go
Even
like
mix.
5.
Yeah, but
3-bet or
I was
fold.
looking at how collision can happen behind a lot of very short stacks. So I chose to pass the spot. Like the button can be, it might have a hand.
3-bet to 5. I think I'm 3-betting to
Oh.
5 a lot here with this hand.
Which hands do you 3-bet from the bluffs more? Which combos?
Obviously,
don't wanna have
ace,
it-
suited ace, suited kings. Right?
Yeah, suited aces and kings. And this one can make a straight, decent top pair, flushes. So, I mean, it's pretty good if you get called.
You don't want a 10 and you don't want a jack.
Okay.
You want some in hand, I can put it in HRC.
Alright, yeah, sure. I was looking for a similar disposition, so this one here has the cutoff as 32. The button has 18, and there's 2 shorts, there's like, one short stack. So kind
this
of
one looks-
similar to this, but
this
here
one
it
looks
has like
close.
two very short stack. So, yeah, maybe I think I wanna run it, cuz I think
Yeah,
it's a
just run it.
one. I think we have some 3-bet bluffs here with suited kings.
Yeah.
But not a lot.
Yeah, I think this will be like the one.
We
It'll
take it,
mostly
but
be
everyone
suited
learns
aces.
there's something to learn for everyone in these sessions.
No matter where you're at, you'll learn something.
And then maybe you guys can help me out with the.
I'm not a
Nick.
therapist.
I wish you were, Nick. I wish you were. I play online poker and I go through a lot of stress.
A lot of stress, huh?
Especially yesterday.
When he's watching me with 50% equity on the line. Huh?
I was sweating so hard.
Can I see the table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Louis, quick question. I'm just curious. Are cash games over there played with US currency or their own currency?
US dollars.
Nice. It's even easier.
7. He opened 2x, right?
A firm.
Alright, I'll give him a 2.5x raise. And it's cutoff versus low jack.
Yes.
Yep.
We would be fucking spewing. Oh, no, maybe not.
Can you share the screen, Cam?
I'm gonna assume we don't have a flatting range at all. I assume it's all 3-bets.
We actually do. Let me
Are you
see.
Canadian, Dooley?
Hold on, let me share. Yeah,
I live in Ontario.
Oh. Recently segregated.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad thing. Like the field is ridiculously easy in comparison to like GG.
Yeah, but the guarantees.
Indeed.
How do they keep the field controlled to, or is it just micro players or something?
It's gonna take.
No, it's just,
You wanna
it's
do
just,
something
like even if you have a VPN, it's pretty hard to bypass. I'm sure you can bypass it somehow, but I'm not sure how to. It's not like restricted to prize money or anything. It's just, like area restricted.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant like as in
Yeah,
standard
there's
of players.
websites for that, like Poker Refugee.
Yeah, so Poker Stars, for example, has the EU version. But that's completely different than the Canadian version.
I
So you
really
can't.
like raising 5 big blind here. I like that where we're going with this.
You like what?
Raising to 5.
You don't like it?
Might be
I like-
a slim amount.
It looks like it's mostly a fold, but it's the thing.
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, like, this is my suited king that I'm doing it with. Never any other ones.
I even saw a spot where I really prefer, I fucked around with it and put it down to 2.2 and it really liked it. I gave it 3 options and it really liked the micro 3-bet. Because you're gonna have, that gives you the 3-bet folds. It gives you the bluffs. It doesn't mind with this kind of stuff. Cause you are just bluffing with all this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you say, if you make it micro re-raise, it's easy to get away from, isn't it?
It all depends on chip distribution too. Like there's spots where you're gonna wanna go bigger and spots.
Hey,
you can-
where did it go?
It's gone.
Oh, no.
It's gone.
What did
It's
you
in the
do?
muck, Louis.
What have you done with it? Are you trying to?
Louis, you know, I
steal my
traded
results
all
from-
my luck for this tournament yesterday.
Which is good, Jeremy.
You know, I just tested. I think I got COVID, man. For God's sake.
You got
Remember
COVID
every
playing
time we
online
went all
poker.
in yesterday on a hand where we had to win a flip, I lose another tournament. That was like the poker guy saying, you know, all right, you're gonna
lost so
sacrifice
much
the other
flips
one.
Yesterday, Jeremy, you caught COVID.
That's probably worth it, huh?
Yeah.
So it's not a thing.
Yeah, but you won a couple of 70-30s in this one, Jeremy.
Alright.
I want you
alright.
wait till you see the final 3 players where every flip is worth a few thousand of dollars and we were winning those flips we weren't supposed to win.
You want to run good
One
and
ace
win
block
new
to get out
flips.
of line. I'm gonna do it with a smaller.
I like this
Love
one.
this hand. This is one of
This
the.
one very nice. But the annoying
Picks up
thing would
more
be when he
equity
rips
as
it
well.
in our face.
Like we knew he was calling too wide on the flop and that the range he was calling on the flop couldn't stand pressure on the turn, so. What do you guys do here?
Easy fold. Easy fold.
Fold.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
This isn't so bad. He's
I
got
think
it
this is a
covered.
snap
You
call.
can't send this fast enough.
We can't fold
I
for 5
don't
days.
think this is bad.
I wanna have a king high, I think. King 10, I think I go. Queen 10, yeah.
Yeah, but
You're flipping with all these
but
pairs.
I remember seeing this guy in the final table. He wasn't playing straight.
This
He
is
was
tight.
crazy, Jeremy.
No. The guy on the right wasn't tight. The guy on our left.
Oh,
was
right,
tight.
okay. Well, he's definitely a call then, isn't it?
That he was you could see what he was jamming. Yeah,
Right, you're already
it's way
risking like
wider than you expect. But we were seeing some really weird stuff on some people's time.
you're in the big
Most
blind,
of the
so
time
you
it's
have an
just-
ante. And the
Yeah,
big
most
blind
of the
plus
time
Yeah,
this
that's
is
what I
a
was
call.
thinking, yeah. I wouldn't say he has to jam any two, but Queen 10 probably makes it.
yeah.
Like if I have Queen 9, might not be one.
Look at this.
What is
It's a
this?
fold.
This is at 12.
12 big blind, that's a huge difference.
That's the shortest I got. I think we really.
No, no,
gonna-
no, no. Come on, man. One is 5, one is sharp. You're telling me it's the same thing.
Can we, let's wait. Maybe we have like really short stack here.
He's jamming way wider than this. This is not even 8. I don't think will make it. This one maybe will. This one's 5, right?
There's a 5 big blind.
Yeah,
He should be jamming a lot of suited.
Find the guy in small blind.
That's what he's
Then-
got roughly
yeah,
though.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
that's what I'm
5, isn't
thinking.
he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A
Then
lot
you
of
have to
suited
call Jen up.
cards.
Yeah.
Ace high. Maybe even king high.
So this one has. The calling range for 5 big blinds.
If
Anyway,
you want to
Ken-
know, you can run. If you want to
Ken,
know,
are
you
you
can
ready?
run.
I'm loading it. But there's a fucking.
I know the small blind has no limping there already, so it's just.
And if you know he's loose, you've got to go a couple pips wider anyway, haven't we? Surely.
I wouldn't say super loose, but he's probably jamming a chip EV range. If he's jamming chip EV range, we're snapping it all.
So what you're calling all pairs?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of
100%.
almost all
Anything with a
aces
10 in it.
suited.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
10 and all
That's why I was
ace
saying Queen 9
offsuit.
might not make it. Just Queen 9 might not make it.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
then again, this is not very fair because our stack was much closer to another 10 big blind stack. So I think you have to run this in HRC.
I ran that king 9 hand wrong. I was still running FGS or multi-table.
Right.
Okay.
What are you running?
But I had
How
it,
many
at
are you
8,
running?
so it probably didn't matter because it had 8 people, so it probably was fine, actually.
If you tighten up your range here, is that okay? That's fine, right? If you tighten up here.
Probably fine, I guess.
Queen 10's not that bad then.
All right, guys. I gotta go to work.
Have a
Bye,
good
and,
one.
may the poker gods be with you.
Look at this.
Paul, our buddy Paul.
Yeah. Ace king.
I've only called king highs or my worst shit off suits. It's too nitty. Oh, it's
Doing
shrinking.
it, Ken.
I'm in that. It's a call. It's never gonna not be a call. It's too far ahead. It's a jamming range. Should we
That
tighten
hand
it
I
up?
was talking to you about, Ken. That hand I was mentioning to you about, and I thought it was an ICM punt. Galen reckons it wasn't with the ace king against the big stack when I was second in chips.
You think he's jamming this wide? Let's make him
Yeah.
a pip tighter.
We could, but I think it's gonna be like a very wide range, so. If he does that, it's gonna be a call, right? Queen 4 off.
Oh, yeah, it's a call. It's in there. It's like, it's a slam dunk.
Okay, alright, we're gonna move on. Thanks for running it, Ken.
Alright.
So yeah, good call, Jay. I thought it was close, but I guess it's not. It's jamming too
What
wide.
was the bottom?
Say what?
What was the bottom? Queen what?
Queen 4.
Wow.
Hold
Okay.
on.
I probably won't call Queen 4. That's probably a bit too wild.
Queen 8.
Queen 8, Queen 9, Queen 8, maybe not all the way to Queen 5. I don't know if I'm calling Queen 4.
Nah, not even queen 7, unless it's suited, maybe.
But if
Yeah,
he's not-
this one is a ridiculous spot. This is where we open and the big stack could jam on us with
Yeah,
bird one.
I'm
This one.
tight this
I didn't
range.
really like the ace 10 off open.
I'm gonna tighten his range just a bit.
I think this could be a jam. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this one I was thinking as well, but then it's like we have a 7 big blind going into the big blind next hand. And
Yeah, I
then,
don't like it.
Yeah, snap fold.
Especially
with
when you've
a
got
tie
3
with-
players behind you.
Super thin big blind jacks.
Look,
probably
I think
fine.
it would be better if you were in the big blind than jamming back, don't you?
This guy's
Yeah.
opening really, really wide here.
Yeah, it's been really, really
But there's
wide.
still 3 guys behind can wake up with something like Louis, isn't there?
Yeah, the 16 can get stacked here. The 14 can get stacked here.
Yeah. That's why that's collision effect behind to consider.
Ken,
Yes. Ah,
get to work.
this is a fold. There's no debate.
Is he
All
a
day.
workhorse as well, Louis? Is he a workhorse?
It's a fold. This is no debate on this one.
Yeah, this is an
Yeah, I
easy
think
fold.
it's
It's easy fold, easy fold.
Oh, this is a jam.
No.
No.
We're in a good spot in this tournament.
We are gonna be in a even better
It's
spot.
probably not gonna be like
20 big
printing,
blinds.
but it's probably fine, but it's just not a spot that you.
It might be a jam from the big blind, Louis.
Barry,
But I don't know about.
Very. You have king 10 suited there. It's like 2 kings. What do you do with 2 kings?
So I tightened up his range to get rid of some of his junky offsuit queens and jacks and some junky all suited stuff, and queen 10 was still a call.
Yeah,
I agree with you,
didn't
Louis.
change-
I
it
do
didn't
agree with you, but I think you
It
need to
really-
clean your glasses this time.
It didn't
what do
really-
you do with 2 kings, Barry? Tell me.
I don't know. In this situation, I'll just rip it.
Exactly.
You know what? I got
Yeah,
the
if
wrong
I was in the big-
price pool in
If I was
here.
in the big blind, I might just flat call it, like probably.
No, you wanna rip with kings here. So you wanna rip with king 10 suited.
How much was this prize pool?
10,000 up top?
Just a
Was he
daily
shout?
30K GG care flip out?
No, it was 100K minimum.
Was
I
he
got-
shouting to you to go all in here then, Jeremy, or what?
I don't have the right payout for some reason. I'm gonna put in a double deuce. Well,
Was
you know
you-
what?
was
It's
you
probably
shouting to
similar to the
Jeremy to
GG
jam?
payouts are probably all similar, so I'll keep the GG in there. It just only has 500 up top. I was wondering why the numbers, the amount, the dollar values were weird. But it's fine. It's a decent structure.
Is this not a jam?
Hold
I
on.
don't think it's a jam. Not a chip EV, maybe. A chip EV, I reckon it is.
GBV is
100%
a
jam.
snap jam. What are you
I'm
talking?
folding.
Yeah.
here, so, I
You
don't-
need to-
GBV is a snap jam.
Show us the light, Ken.
Alright, what's running? What positions were who? Alright, hold on, let me share the screen.
Oh, so
Hijack
hot here.
versus cutoff, 2 X-rays.
Open, hijack.
We're
open
not,
jam, Right?
Yeah.
There is no open jam.
no,
Why
you
not?
open 2 big line.
Oh, we opened two? And
I
we're cut
wanna
off?
see the 3-bet range from the cutoff.
We're cut off?
There we go. Boom, shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka, huh? But it's 36 CI. It's not even there yet.
Exactly.
Boom, shak. Oh no, what have you done?
I told you.
Don't
Doesn't
do
look
it
like 2
yeah,
kings
yeah.
now, Louis.
This is gonna be a snap fold.
Ken, don't do it again.
Where is it going? Is it going?
Ken,
lower?
what are you doing, Ken?
Goodbye,
You were
Louis.
right about the jack though, Louis.
Goodbye,
I'll give
Louis.
you
It's
that.
gonna
You were
reach.
right about
It's
the
gonna go
jack.
to 20 already. It's gonna hit 20 soon.
Stop this heresy, Ken.
Louis, you didn't ask Ken if this thing is
There we
rigged. Oh
go.
my god, it's increasing.
Boom.
No way.
Boom, shakalaka.
Nah.
You see
Let
this?
it go back.
See this, Jeremy
go.
Chan? You see your 2 eyes. Look at
It
the
go to
screen.
20. It will go to 20. Don't worry. Don't
Look
worry.
at the screen, Jeremy.
Ken, please break this thing.
So it makes more 3-betting.
Ooh,
It
That
doesn't
does.
even make money to jam.
renting. Jeremy Chan.
Jeremy.
Renting.
More just 3-bet fold, I think.
There's another P word that it might also
Oh, bye-bye.
What have you
Punting.
done?
Punting.
Go back.
Cha-ching!
Nah, it's probably break even.
Go
yeah.
back.
From printing to punting.
Yeah, there's a difference between punting and printing, yeah. Oh dear, we're gonna be down a single figure in a minute.
Yeah, I think we will.
Kenneth Keppel, what have you done again?
Jeremy,
What's that?
you're back in London, right?
Yeah, I am. Just for
There's a
oh,
tournament on at the Vic this week.
I
I'm
saw,
gonna go
yeah,
to it.
yeah. But I think I just got tested positive for COVID, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen in the next few days.
I don't need to be near you, man. I've had it 3 times.
Oh, right. I'm gonna try and get a satellite on Grosvenor Poker, right?
The party's over.
Oh my
Did you
goodness.
play the satellite for Grosvenor?
I've got the ticket, yeah, £400 buy-in.
Yeah, that one's pretty expensive. I need Louis Philippe to fork out some of this winnings for that.
It's up to
Louis,
you, innit? We could have 20% with each other as well if you want. If you fancied it.
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know
the
how
satellite-
I'm gonna feel by the end of this week. I just got tested positive for COVID. I told Louis I traded all my
Oh, well.
luck yesterday for this stupid tournament.
I better not meet up with you then.
Yeah.
It's all good, Jeremy, because now you can buy the good milk.
Yeah.
You can buy the good
9%,
milk
Louis.
now.
It's worth it, huh, Louis? It's
9%.
worth it, huh?
Yeah.
It's worth me almost dying. Huh? Nah, I'm
Start a
just joking.
countdown with his King 10.
I'll have to enlarge the screen so I can see the king 10 a little better. Can't quite see it in there.
I
King
think maybe
10
we could
is-
move on.
Yeah. 5%. Then we count down from 5 to 0, shall we?
Ah,
It would be okay if you wanted to do that. Oh, no, they're losing money. Yeah, you don't do that at all. I thought they were plus, it's minus.
alright, Jeremy, good fold, I guess.
Easy game. Look who make the big bucks, Louis.
Like here, right now, you're the shortest stack. How
Yep,
are you gonna win this?
doesn't matter.
It's interesting how fast it goes, like.
Look at
So,
this.
like, after
Bye-bye.
that's bust out, it's like over.
Look at this.
What do you do here, Ken?
It's a
Jam.
short stack, so he
Yeah.
could rip it.
You're gonna be
This is
way
a
ahead
very
of
good
his
hand.
range.
Yep.
He's got nothing to lose because he's last anyway.
Not really nothing to lose. Not really nothing to lose. We still got quite a bit to lose. That's 2 10 big blinds back. Look at it.
That's terrible. This is delicious. Ooh.
All in.
Yeah, I like a fold there, 'cause that guy was jamming or limping, right? That was a weird.
Yeah.
That's, I think
Kind
he
of
was
is-
doing it, I think we picked that up last night. He was kind of like jamming on us or limping. And that, like stuck out like a weird bet. I missed the other guy bust out. So Jeremy's got 9 big blinds and this thing's almost over.
Quickly how it can turn though, isn't it? The card
Oh,
rush is
this
about to
one.
come, isn't it?
This one. We ran this one. We ran this one already.
It's a jam, 100%.
This is
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
100% jam.
Yeah.
Oh my.
You got a
goodness.
king, you got a king, you got a king.
Very,
you
very,
got a
very.
king,
Trust
and
me,
you
that's
got
what
the
I thought.
short
That's what
stack.
I thought in game as well. But we ran this spot already.
It's an offsuit for Barry.
Very. So what happened is that I think King 5 off jams, but King 4 off cannot jam. But here's the key part. This guy in big blind, he was tanking calling a fairly easy call earlier, and then right now we were thinking that, okay, so if he calls tighter than what HRC suggests, that allows us to jam more hands, which includes hands like this.
Right.
So
But if he
you
calls
have to
too
decide
much,
if your
it's a
opponent is
disaster.
calling too wide, calling too tight, if they're calling tighter, you get to jam wider. That's it. So we saw that this spot, we won our 70-30 for powers of chip. Happy days.
He wakes up with a hand though, obviously. Yeah,
Oh,
nice. Here's your 70-30.
Yeah, you hit the 70.
You won a few of them in this.
Look at the
Doodle
sweat on the
job.
floor, right? Look at the sweat on the floor. Everything going for him.
Uh-oh. Oh, Jeremy Chan, look at you now.
Wait till you watch more of this. Wait, we still want a couple more. It's
Doodle
not
job.
over yet.
Love it.
Never
Great
complain. I'm not
flop ever.
complaining. No complaint. This one's interesting. He decided to limit the spot where he could be jamming like any two, I think. Especially with his hand, I
Yes.
think he's supposed to jam any two. Which was really weird considering we were looking at him. What was he doing here with king deuce off here? He's probably supposed to jam this hand. Like our ICM was so tight here. Oh, look at this ring. Just need the whole kings. Beautiful.
That's it. He's back in the game.
Back in the
Well and
game.
truly back in the game.
Wait till you see more of it. Oh my god. Easy fold. Alright, H3 off, we were thinking whether it was an open, but I don't think it was. Oh, this one is another one, a big one. I think this is a
Realize
fold.
the chip leader finished third, didn't he?
What did you do?
Yeah,
here?
chip leader did finish third because he played something really weird.
Horrible spot.
Remember he limbed pocket 10, but this hand was
This
this hand
is
is
a
very
call,
high up our
it's
range.
just
We probably
snap
can't
call.
fold this hand.
It's a snap call.
No.
Yeah,
You're gonna
It's
be
a
ahead a
horrible
lot,
spot.
but
yeah,
The risk
we are
premium is
ahead.
very low now. This
Yeah.
is just, we're pretty much chip EV. This is just. a
Yeah,
snap.
king queen off would probably be a fold, but king queen suited is probably a call. Yeah.
King, queen off probably close.
Yeah, probably close,
Yeah.
but I think king queen suited it has to be a fold.
I'd probably call king, queen off, to be honest, too, now.
Yeah,
probably
but king
would
queen
too.
off is a bit dicey though.
yeah,
But I
the
don't-
thing is, you're still gonna be ahead of enough of his
That's true,
kings and
that's true,
queens
but
and
he's gonna have
jacks.
two. He's gonna have two cards, right? And what we witnessed just now was that he was not jamming king deuce offsuit, which was very weird considering that ICM pressure he can put on us. So is it really a call though? Like if we think of it that way, so I'm not too sure. I know it's
It's
like
a
the
very
high.
close one, but if you're folding this, you're not playing many hands at all, are you?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
problem.
yeah. And in the end, we decided on a call.
And
So
what
what
you
do
got?
you do,
20
Barry?
bigs?
Hmm?
How many bigs you got? 20?
I'm expecting a flip more often than not.
I could run this like
Call, do
really.
you call?
I'm running it.
I'm
Button
running
open.
it, yeah.
You're small blind?
Big blind.
Oh, it's small blind versus big blind?
You know he's gonna have an ace in his hand a lot of time. That's the problem.
I gotta set this up.
Yeah,
first.
which is what he
Call
had.
or do you fold, Barry?
Say it again, Louis.
Call or fold?
I'll call in this situation. I've seen him make a couple of jams though as well, and I so. And
Yeah, but he
he's
didn't
been
jam
playing
king deuce
aggressive.
off, which was mainly one of the reasons we had to
Oh.
consider. But I think king queen suited might just be too strong here.
But he was getting involved a lot. He was making a lot of 2x raises and that. So I'm not going to fold there.
That's for sure. No, I'm just gonna run this one right now.
So it's interesting.
He's going to have an ace. He's
I had
gonna
a
have an
force
ace a lot of
in.
the time. But
Share the screen, Ken.
I had a
Oh, I
force-
also have to remove aces and kings, right, from his jamming range. Yeah, he's supposed to jam 86%. But then I have to remove like aces and aces, kings, and queens maybe.
We make exactly
Oh, that's
6% of aces. Alright.
dear.
I mean, that's it. It's pretty much there. It's the 10. That's where we go. Yeah, this isn't terrible. I'm calling this too, probably. It's not great, but
And a nice day two tonight, guys. Hopefully gonna take it down.
Hopefully you will.
Hopefully, Louis.
And this is like if he's jamming correctly, like if he's jamming this kind of stuff, it gets way dicier,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So like. If we have him jam these even like 50% of the time, let's just say he wants to open jam.
You're running on.
If he shows up with ace queen, you're in a lot of trouble, basically. But if he shows up with ace jack, you're still in a flip.
He's never gonna. Maybe he might turn up with ace jack sometime.
Ace 10 and ace jack, if he's shoving those hands, you're in a flip.
Yeah, but king queen suits is
Plus
very
his
strong.
pairs, plus his smaller pairs. You just don't want to see ace queen or ace king.
So I'm trying to see if small blind has any limp. Small blind
So
never
like if he
limps here.
stronger hands, this is starting to go down in value. And
Yeah.
this-
Yeah, it's still earning 10% of aces here, though.
Not quite.
Pretty close.
Do you call Peter? Do you call this off?
So it depends on what you think you can do. If you think that you can steal small pots against a guy, you can play a bit of a different strategy where you just avoid his best hands. But king queen suited is one of the hands that I think you do have to lose the money with.
Yeah. And this is
Right?
what we were hoping to turn up with a hand like this, or or a smaller pair. He's gonna drill it.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
tell me about this flop.
If he's jamming his ace jack, ace queens, then it's no good. If he's fully jamming them 100%, you gotta fold this, honestly.
What's going through your mind here, Jeremy?
What is his jamming range? His jamming range never has like the nuts. Like he's gonna be raising a lot of stuff, and then this portion of his range, he has some king jack offsuit that he might jam as well. So we're well ahead of a lot of range there. Some king axe, some queen axe, some suited queen axe, suited king axe. You know.
What are you thinking at this moment?
At this moment, God bless us.
God bless.
Let me see a queen or king. That's what
We got nothing to choose, right? And then we bring the king, right?
I'm thinking good
There you
game, third place money. I already starting to spend my third place money.
The problem is that third place money wasn't that much. It was like almost double the money for first place.
Jack of hearts. Come on, Jack of hearts.
No.
Jeremy
We
Foss
get our
would be
king
like,
right away,
one-
man.
one
What
time,
do you
baby.
mean,
You're
Jack?
Jeremy,
One time, we get our
you're
king
not
right
here to
away.
mess around.
I'm not asking for a Jack of hearts here. We get
Oh.
it right away. man.
Oh, there it
We get
is,
it right
baby.
away, man. What do
Boom.
you think?
No.
What do you think? Oh, there you go. That's your Jack of hearts, Peter.
Yeah, see, you need it to come the other way around so that it has maximum soul crushing impact on the guy.
Oh, this Brazilian was just clicking buttons. He was raising that queen jack 6 board, which was weird. Yeah, this spot we could. I think ripping it in would probably be the best play there. Oh, this one. He limped. He limped this hand, and
What do you guys do here?
we rip it in. But
Uh,
I think we're
Maybe
supposed to
some-
rip, aren't we?
raise a little bit. Not too
going
much.
all in, but not sure. I can't run this on HRC because I don't think there's a limping range. He's supposed to open a lot tighter. This one basically secured a win already. This guy just
Jeremy
basically
said
went
it
from
was
chip leader to
enough.
turn.
Yeah, I saw the tens, I know, but I would probably still be jamming there, so I gotta jam.
Yeah, Ken, but I still don't know what the guy's limping with though. Like, is
Right.
there even a limping range? Like,
Well,
I've
yeah,
never
if he-
seen an ICM limping
Right,
range.
if he wants to have a limp range, if he has limp folds and limp calls and limp jams.
Right. So that hand will be a jam, right? Will be a
He's
snap.
limp jamming them, yeah.
Because he can't even call like ace 5 off, right? Can he? Wait, ace 5 off probably wants to open. I don't even know, man.
I mean, I could put a limping range in for him. I pretty much
Like
have.
he has to open really tight, and then we can just start. Once he opens tight at the wider and wider, and then we can just keep shipping it in the space.
He was button, right? So.
Oh, this one's the last hand. We won this one. I don't even know what this guy's doing. Just ship it in on this flop. Like, what are you doing? What are you
Got a
doing?
pair.
Is
It's got
7
a
big
pair,
blinds at a pair?
Use 3, really? Are you
The
joking?
deuce
Never
is
mind, I'll take-
loose.
I don't know, man. I don't know this Brazilian. He's weird.
He was done. He was done. He made it, he
Yeah, he
had
was
his
probably
best
done.
effort and.
Yeah, we
You
had
took-
we
you
had
turned the
we
deal
had the
button
deal
off.
button on the whole time. We allowed them to have the deal, but no one wants to take the deal. We were the only person on the table that wanted the deal.
Yeah.
And they did not want.
We
So
didn't
what
want
happens
it,
when
we
you
were
don't take
scamming
the
them.
deal? I'll take it down.
Yeah. Boom shakalaka. And Jeremy is the mini Grand Prix champion of a major Sunday event with
All right. Let's
4,000 players.
ask this
Congrats.
question. Who's final tabling it next week? Last week was Louis Philip.
Yeah.
This week is my turn. Who is doing it next week? We gotta
Next
ask that
week,
question.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it tonight. What do you mean?
What do you mean? They don't run, I don't think they run 4,000 runners.
He's got a day
on
two.
Monday.
There's a lot of day twos on ACR today as well.
Very
Oh,
well.
is
I'm
it?
in, I'm